back with a big win on the road. Expect a Snapdragon for Friday Night Lights and some Mountain West action. And the Padres end the season with a bang at Petco. Tomorrow, it's Padres Cubs at Wrigley. A full breakdown of the series and reaction to the Aztecs win. Live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, we hear from Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour one of Jon and Jim. Postseason baseball is 24 hours out. Actually, less than that. 22 hours from now, Padres and Cubs get underway, and boy, do we have you covered. Kevin Brown is a old friend. Not like Bob Melvin was an old friend, but Kevin Brown is a dear friend of mine going all the way back to minor league baseball. He will be on the call for ABC for this entire series. I'll be with Jim. Kevin Brown will join us coming up at 4 p.m. Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, is on the show today at 5 p.m. from Wrigley. And then Alex Cohen, who calls games for the Cubs for Marquee, will join us at 5:30. We'll get into the NFL with Will Brinson at 4:30, but it's finally here, Jim. We've talked about this seemingly for weeks on end. We thought it was Padres and Cubs. Then we knew it was Padres and Cubs. Now we know the starting pitching matchup, as you just talked about there. In the update, Padres get to 90 wins. They're in Chicago. They're opening this series, and it all starts tomorrow. It could be very short-lived, or it can go a very long time, and it all starts tomorrow for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited. Postseason baseball back. We waited after the collapse of last year in the postseason, all anybody was thinking about after the 24 consecutive scoreless innings was the following postseason. Right. Like, get to the next postseason, get to next year, or get to the next time the Padres are in the postseason, because that's now the goal and kind of the standard of this franchise is to make postseasons 4 and 6 years. That's incredible. Back-to-back 90-win seasons. That's incredible. And we're finally here. It has felt like a long year. It really has. And Mike Schilt even said as much, when they clinched last week in the clubhouse, how it was a grindy year. Yeah, it was a grindy year for everybody. But they got to 90 wins. I think that's a pretty cool benchmark for a franchise. Even if they were at 89, it's whatever. But still, having that 90-win mark under your belt here, back-to-back years, and that's a pretty cool accomplishment. And now you get back to a postseason where you feel like there's some unfinished business. Different team, different circumstances, all of that. I get it. But the disappointment of last year fueled to now hopefully a run this year. I'm excited. We're not going to have to wait long. It's not like the team's going to be the last game of tomorrow, right? It starts right in the middle of the afternoon. A lot of people, it's going to be a struggle to watch that game because, people have jobs and school and whatnot. But I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait till first pitch tomorrow.
Jeff Passan wrote this today, and we touched on this maybe yesterday in the wrap-up show. Maybe he was listening. There is no perfect team out there. I mean, this thing is so wide open, both leagues. I mean, you've never had less margin between these 12 teams. All these teams are capable of winning the World Series. All of these teams are capable of losing their first playoff round. The Padres are not taking on some invincible team. The Cubs have been fine. They were 2 games better than the Padres. They haven't been in the postseason since 2020. They haven't won a postseason game since 2017. They have no players with postseason experience. They're without their game 1 starter because of a rib injury in Cade Horton. So, it's in the Padres' hands is my point. They play well. They can survive in advance. They don't have to play the best baseball they've ever played. They're not playing some historically good team. We've talked about the home road discrepancy. I think it matters. They have not been the same team on the road. They have to show us something they haven't necessarily shown us this year. But if the Tatises and the Machados and the Pavettas can lead the way, you're not taking on a 112-win team. You play good baseball, you can survive in advance. And that's the beauty of this thing. It's open. It's not just this Cubs series. It's the postseason in general for the 12 teams. And to me, that makes it very exciting because you just don't know heading in what you're going to get.
You don't. Anything could happen. We could have all home teams advance in the wild card round.
Exactly.
We could have all road teams advance in the wild card round. Every series could end in 2 games. Like, the uncertainty with this postseason, I don't even know who to pick.
Yeah.
And whoever I do pick, it's not like I'm so confident in them and their chances to go all the way. Like, in this series against the Cubs, I do feel like it's close to a 50-50 coin toss. And the reason why the Cubs are favored is because they're at home. I feel like if they were playing here at Petco, the Padres would be favored. That's the only reason why I think the Cubs are favored in the series is because of home field. But you can't tell me the Padres don't have as good of a team as the Cubs. I think they do. I think in some areas they're better than the Cubs. And I think in some areas the Cubs are better than the Padres. I can tell you that if you're a Cubs fan, like, let me ask you, Brent, playing the Padres, does that scare you? Because I feel like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I think most Cubs fans would say that.
I think some Cubs fans would be scared because the Padres, you look at their roster. Now, Brent's watched the Padres all year long, so he has a better understanding. But for Cubs fans that haven't watched the Padres all year long, they'll look at that and be like, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., their bullpen that everyone talks about. Like, that's kind of scary. And I think that if you are asking Cubs players and Cubs executives, they'd be like, man, we drew the Padres in the first round.
Yeah, like why would, like, just ask yourself this question in general. Because Padres fans at times in September were very down on their team, right? There was a lot of, this team it's inevitable. They're going to lose in the wild card. They've blown an opportunity to win the division. They're going to open on the road. Why wouldn't Cubs fans feel the same way? They lost their game one starter. They have a terrible historic track record in the postseason. They haven't been in 5 years. They didn't close playing brilliant baseball. Now, they played well enough against the Padres at home, but it was in April.
Yeah.
They took 2 out of 3 from the Padres in April. So every way that Padres fans felt, I feel like Cubs fans, if they're being honest, have probably felt the same way. I think I've sensed a little bit of a change with Padres fans the last 10 days because the Padres went 7-1 to close, for whatever that's worth. To me, none of it matters. If they went 1-7 down the stretch, I think they could win a series like this. I think if they went 7-1 down the stretch, it doesn't guarantee that they win a series like this. But I do think from a fan base perspective, you're watching the offense this weekend against Arizona, and I think there's a level of confidence. We'll see if that's accurate or not, but I think there's a level of confidence based on the way they finished.
I mean, let's be real. Anybody out there that's like, oh, it doesn't matter what you do down the stretch, to an extent, yeah, it doesn't. But from a confidence standpoint, I don't know. Maybe I'm different, but I know that if I was a player and if I was in a massive slump going into the postseason, I'd be like, this sucks. But if I was hot going to a postseason, my confidence level would be at an all-time high.
Yeah, like Tatis, I agree with you. I just go back from a team perspective last year. I couldn't have been more confident in the Padres.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And the way they played in the wild card series against Atlanta, just rolling through the Braves in 2 games, taking the lead against the Dodgers in the manner in which they did, winning a game in blowout fashion at Dodger Stadium, winning game 3 definitively, to then have it finish the way it did, I think proves the lesson that there are no guarantees. You can close strong, you can deal with adversity, you can not deal with it. I just think that each game and series is unique. I like the Padres' chances here. I think it's a coin flip series. I really believe that. I think you look at the betting numbers and it would suggest a coin flip series, but the Padres are fully capable of winning this series. It's on them. And we'll see if they take advantage of it or not. I was surprised, by the way, and we can get into this over the course of the show. I was surprised when I woke up today to see the article in The Athletic with Dennis Lynn was in on it. Britt Giroli wrote it as well. And in Britt's tweet, she referenced AJ Preller's uncertain future. And that may be true. I have no idea what AJ Preller's future holds. We're not privy to those conversations, but I'm surprised. Like yesterday, all you hear is back-to-back 90-win seasons, and Padres have been in 4 of the last 6 years. Yet Preller's future is yet to be determined. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if he's here for the next 10 years or he's gone at the end of this postseason. But to me, it's a mistake if Preller isn't here, and it's the organization's decision. Back-to-back 90-win seasons. I don't know what's happening in Chicago. I don't know if they win it or lose it or make a run. Regardless of what happens in Chicago, to me, it would be a mistake from an organization perspective to move on from AJ Preller. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me if that's the decision they make at the end of the postseason.
Interesting time for that article to be released.
Day one of, yeah, exactly.
Like if that article is going to be released. Now, I did read the whole thing, and like I would say 85% of it was just kind of background on AJ Preller and how he operates.
He plays basketball.
Like he is a certified psycho in the best way. Like he is just like a college kid that just eats McDonald's and Denny's and goes plays basketball all the time, but yet also is the general manager of a professional baseball team.
Right.
So it's like, what? But then you get to the end of the article and you see I think it might have been 1 or 2 paragraphs describing the uncertainty of his future. But the entire article was mostly about like inside of Preller's mind and how he operates and how he's built this team over the last couple years. But I do think it's interesting to note the uncertain future of AJ, because once this season ends, whenever it does, barring them winning the World Series, I think the question of AJ's future will be at the forefront. And,
but does that surprise you that it would be like if they,
no, it doesn't.
even if they made the World Series?
No, it even if they make the World Series, the only way it won't be a conversation is the day after the season ends, whenever it is. Hopefully it's after the World Series that he gets a contract extension. Because, we've gone up and down on AJ over the last 5 years or 4 years, right? And since I've been in town and you've been in town, from this guy's got to go to what's he doing to now it's like, how could they operate without him, right? He has turned a complete 180 here, where I do think that if Preller was not the general manager of this team anymore, I don't envision this team being as successful as it is now, continuing in the future. And I also think the fan base would be irate when compared to, if you asked me this question 4 years ago,
2021,
the fans would have been throwing a party.
I mean, listen to this paragraph. We could react on the other side. We're going to hear from Manny Machado coming up as well about postseason baseball. And don't mention the word urgency, apparently, around Manny.
Oh, it's a bad word.
But in this article, they write this. Under late Padres owner Peter Seidler, Preller benefited from unprecedented resources and significant leeway for his aggressive style. Now, without Seidler's backing and with Preller nearing the final year of his contract, the consequences of a possible early round postseason exit remain to be seen. I'm always amazed when people put postseason success or failure on a general manager. Like, this to me has very little to do with AJ Preller right now. Game 1 in Chicago. Very little. Winning this game or losing this game. I'm not crediting him for winning this game, and I'm certainly not blaming him if they lose on Tuesday.
The last 2 years, if they don't succeed in the postseason, right? How could you put that on AJ?
Yeah, like I thought, wasn't he widely credited for what he did at the deadline? I forget about locally, just in baseball circles, what he just did at the deadline.
Yeah, if he doesn't do what he did at the deadline, they're probably not making the postseason, or at least
it would have been tighter.
It would have been tight.
Yeah.
They probably are. I mean, 83 wins. Come on, give me a break. You're right.
They probably would have made it,
but they wouldn't be in as good a position as they are now.
Potentially, yeah.
Last year, you could say the same thing.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
And all the moves that he made during the season and leading up to the season last year, trading Juan Soto, getting Michael King, and all those players, like. I think the last 2 years, Preller has done a fantastic job. Fantastic. For anybody out there that thinks he's done a bad job, how? What? Why? Back-to-back 90-win teams, and they are, picked by a lot to win the World Series. They were picked a lot by people to win a World Series last year. It's up to the players to perform. And if Manny Machado doesn't perform, like say
you can't fire Manny.
You can't fire Manny, but you also, how could you blame Preller for that?
I want to hear from fans on that. I mean, if the Padres don't win a World Series, is Preller in jeopardy? Or would you be in agreement with that direction from the organization? 877-767-4760 or text us 70470. Start it with the word team. But again, you can call us 877-767-4760 or text us 70470. Start it with the word team. We'll hear from Manny Machado coming up. More reaction to that article in The Athletic. Plus, Kevin Acee at 5, Kevin Brown on the call of this series on ABC. Will join us at 4. This is Jon and Jim. Stay with us. All right, San Diego Sports 760 has 13 chances to win $1,000 every weekday. It's the Bonus Bucks giveaway. Every hour, 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Next chance to win $1,000 coming up at 3. We'll hear from Manny Machado momentarily. And again, Kevin Acee joins us at 5. Kevin Brown calling this week's series in Chicago for ABC, ESPN. He'll join us at 4. And then Alex Cohen, who's been calling Cubs games all year for Marquee, will join us coming up at 5:30. Just not to put a bow necessarily on the Preller conversation, because it's not something that will be
it's ongoing
put on. Yeah, there's no bow to put on it. But I would just say, like, I want to make the point clear. I'm not saying that I have any clue what the organization may do. They may determine to part ways. Like that may happen, or maybe there'll be an extension. I'm just saying, in my opinion, regardless of knowing what the organization may do, my point is it's a mistake, in my opinion. I could be right or wrong. I just think it's a mistake, in my opinion, to part ways with AJ Preller, even if they lose in this Cubs series 2-0. I think it's a mistake. I think he hasn't put it in the right direction. I'm not saying it's easy moving forward. There's hurdles and headwinds. Dodgers still exist. They probably are only getting better. Maybe gaps widen at some point. I just think Preller has pointed this thing enough in the right direction that I'd rather continue down that path than the unknown of another path.
Like, would I give AJ Preller an extension? Absolutely 100%.
That's my thing. You give him the 2 years.
But here's the thing. We don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes.
Completely.
We don't know the dynamic that has taken place over the last couple of years with all the changes that has happened since the passing of Peter Seidler. So I'll say this. If AJ were to walk, or if they mutually part ways after the season, I don't think I'd be surprised.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know what they're going to do. I will say this: if they do mutually agree to part ways, I think AJ Preller's a GM in baseball next year.
He could have any job he wants.
I really do believe that. I think there's maybe organizations that would make moves.
Maybe.
I'm not saying he's the best GM, but I am saying he's done well enough here. Listen, the knocks are the knocks. Yeah. Hasn't gotten to a team to a World Series. We get it. They haven't won divisions. They haven't won World Series. You could see the Dodger trolls saying it. I understand that general point, but there's been more good than bad. Yeah. There's been bad, but there's been more good than bad. And to me, that checks the box to keep them.
Yeah. It's the fans don't see and are not privy to what happens behind closed doors. Not. There are things that we have obviously heard that would lend me down the path of, okay, it makes sense that they would have a parting of ways here. But at the same time, if you do that, you are running a massive risk as a franchise to then revert back to who you were before AJ Preller, which is a boring, uninspiring, kind of just middle of the road franchise.
Unless Theo Epstein is picking up that phone. You start, but now you're going in this like,
that's conversations for like once the postseason. I mean, tomorrow is game 1 of the wild card.
I know, but I'm just saying, I didn't write the article today.
I know.
And it's interesting that, listen, game 1 of the wild card is followed by game 2 of the wild card. And some of these series are going to be over after game 2 of the wild card series. All right, let's hear from Manny Machado. So this is Manny postgame, who goes 2 for 2 in homers to cap off, I think, fairly an up and down regular season. A lot of up in the first half, a lot of down in the second half. Finishes with 27 home runs. Helps his team get back to the postseason. Listen to this question and answer from Manny on postseason baseball that begins tomorrow.
Was there a lot of urgency in that 3-game reset?
Urgency? You see, this is why I do not like reporters. This is why. The words that you guys use. Urgency, the team getting hot at the right moment. I mean, these are words that you guys make for bigger stories than what it is. You got to go out there and play baseball. You got to go out there and make 27 outs. It doesn't matter about urgency. There's no urgency. You put urgency, you're gonna be in a hole. So it's a matter of playing our game. Let's keep it simple. We got to catch the ball, hit the ball, and play the best baseball that we could possibly have, and leave it up to you guys to write stories about it.
So the definition of urgency is importance requiring swift action.
He didn't say, like, is the word urgency that offensive? What's that movie? I'm not quoting a movie.
Oh, here we go.
There was some movie with, like, was it Will Ferrell, where they like said, "Oh, you said whatever."
What? There's a lot of Will Ferrell movies where he said whatever. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know what I'm talking about either, but he acted like he's like, full stop. You said urgency.
Yeah.
Urgency, like, I'm sorry. He didn't say like you're the worst player in the history of baseball. He said, is there urgency with it being a best of 3 series? Like, this is why I hate reporters.
Yeah. I don't think Manny understood where AJ Caswell was coming from, which is, if you don't know Manny, what he's talking about is the loser of game 1 in the new wild card expanded format has never gone on to win the series. So the urgency that AJ Caswell, I'm sure, is alluding to is, hey, if you lose game 1, the odds of you winning the series are pretty low because it hasn't happened yet in the expanded postseason format. So going out there and winning game 1 is, I mean, it feels like you gotta have some urgency there.
Now, I will say this: there'll be a time someone loses game 1 and wins the series. Yes. We're talking about baseball.
And maybe it happens this week.
And by the way, the Padres, you brought it up yesterday in the wrap-up show. They lost game 1 in 2020 to St. Louis. So that was a different era. It was different. They won the next 2. Smoke and mirrors.
In the new expanded format
in front of fans.
With an extra wild card team.
But like, it is a completely fair question. Obviously, fair. It's a best of 3. And oh, by the way, the reason it's even more fair for Manny Machado is, Manny, look yourself in the mirror. You've never done anything in the postseason. For a player of your caliber and your distinction that could be in baseball's Hall of Fame one day, you've never done anything in the postseason. So, if you play with urgency, you get in trouble. Well, the way you've been playing in the postseason before has gotten you in trouble already. Maybe
if he had some urgency in the postseason,
exactly,
he would be better. I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, like, just the way he reacted there, it rubs me the wrong way. But again, if he goes out tomorrow and he hits a 2-run homer in the first inning, who cares? You know, it's about what you do on the field. And if what he does on the field mirrors what he's done on the field in the postseason over his entire career, then that quote to me, just makes him look even dumber. Like, can we not say that, like, you can't have urgency? Because that's the whole point of sports. There's a end date here. After 27 outs, the game is over. So there is urgency in a game to score more runs than the other team before the end of the game, correct?
There is.
So that's where urgency comes in, Manny.
And I love how he's like, did he think to himself when he woke up yesterday, like, hey, I've been waiting to pick my spot to say I don't like reporters for the final day of the regular season? It just seemed like a very strong reaction. You may not like the question. I'm sure it happens all the time with managers and players. And after all the questions you answered this year, this was the time you decided to say, this is why I don't like reporters. Again, I respect the transparency of Manny. You hear it from no one in those terms. Nobody speaks like that in today's sports. But there's a reason nobody speaks like that, because he went too far there. And I'm very surprised in a question that AJ Caswell of MLB.com asked, that would be his reaction.
Yeah, I think there are times when absolutely it's 100% fair for Manny or any player in sport to be like, what are you doing? Like, are you serious? Like, if Barry Bloom's asking a question, more often than not, the player's probably going to be like, what are you talking about, Barry?
Hey, Manny, who do you want to play in the postseason?
Yeah, exactly.
We're playing the Cubs.
Yeah, like, hey, do you want to face the Dodgers in the NLCS? It's like, yo, Barry, we got to talk about game 1 tomorrow. I just kind of roll my eyes at this point in time with those things that Manny does, because it's all about what he does on the field. And if he doesn't perform on the field, then he'll get criticized. And if he performs on the field, then he'll get praised. But the stuff that he says post-game like that, I don't think he truly understands the question, to be honest with you.
All right, coming up on the other side, we're going to get to the game 2 and game 3 starters, if there are 3 games in the wild card series for San Diego, and why no Michael King as the scheduled starter for the Padres, plus postseason odds. Where do the Padres stack up? That's coming up as well. Kevin Acee at 5. Kevin Brown, who's calling the series on ABC, at 4. This is Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres Cubs game 1 of the wild card series starts tomorrow at Wrigley Field, 12:08. First pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Matthew Boyd for the Cubs. Earlier this morning, Mike Schilt announced that Dylan Cease will be the game 2 starter. And if it goes to a game 3, Yu Darvish would be the game 3 starter in Chicago. Other news around the National League West today, the Giants have fired Bob Melvin after the Giants went 81-81 on the year. And over the weekend, San Diego State picked up a 6-3 win over Northern Illinois. Next up, conference play begins this Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium against Colorado State. Rapid Radio is our instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever, a great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Kevin Brown on the call this week in Chicago for ESPN ABC. He'll join us coming up at 4. Kevin Acee at 5. Will Brinson on the NFL at 4:30. Alex Cohen on the Cubs. He calls games for the Cubs at 5:30. So you've touched on this. Cease game 2, Darvish game 3, King available out of the bullpen, which I think speaks to the concern that we had all September long about Michael King. Is there enough time? Is he fully healthy? Can he be built all the way back up? There was some effectiveness in there over the month, but there was also some ineffectiveness, like that start at Citi Field when he allowed 4 home runs. So it was somewhat surprising to me as it played out this weekend. I started to see some of the reports, like from Kevin, that Dylan Cease was expected to start game 2. At the end of the day, there was never going to be a perfect option beyond Pivetta. And I still believe that. They can win with Cease. They could lose with Cease. They can win with Darvish, so on and so forth. King too. So they go with Cease and Darvish. I'm not going to argue it, but it does surprise me to some extent. I thought they were setting up Michael King to start in the series. I thought he would start game 2 if you would have asked me that a week ago. And now he's going to be coming out of the bullpen if we see him in the series.
Yeah. You know, one thing about if they, and I know that you can't look this far ahead, like you got to win that game that day type of thing. But you also, as an organization, do have to look a little bit ahead to potentially have things, right? Sure. Unless it's a game 7 of a series and it's like all hands on deck, we'll worry about tomorrow. But, you know, say Dylan Cease did not get tabbed for game 2 or 3. And that would mean then he would have, so when did he pitch last? Was it Wednesday or Tuesday of last week? I think it was Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Was it Wednesday?
I don't know, dude.
It was Tuesday or Wednesday. I know that.
He pitched on September 24th.
Okay. My guess is that that's a Wednesday.
What day was September 24th?
It was a Wednesday.
Okay.
All right. So if he were not to pitch in the wild card round, the Padres advanced, he would get most likely game 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 11 days rest, 10 days rest for him. That's a long time. And if you pitch now on game 2, you know, you have a week off. You're only pitching on 7 days rest. But that's beside the point. I'm just kind of like thinking out loud about those type of things. The most important thing, though, is his career numbers
against the Cubs.
Yeah. That's my guess as to why they chose Dylan Cease for game 2. Because against the Cubs in his career, he has a 2.47 ERA and almost 50 career innings pitched. The last time he pitched against the Cubs at Wrigley Field, 7 innings, 12 strikeouts.
Is that career numbers against the Cubs home road? What you just read initially, his 2 whatever ERA at home or on the road?
I think it's just against the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's relevant. I mean, obviously he's had a level of confidence.
I don't think he's pitched that many innings at Wrigley Field.
I wouldn't think, but they play every year. White Sox Cubs.
Yes.
Both venues.
But even if you only had like 3 starts.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I mean, and he's pitched as a Padre there.
It's career numbers.
But here's the other thing about career numbers against a team. Tell me if you agree or disagree. The Cubs in 2023 aren't the Cubs in 2025.
Correct.
Like, how many of these players did he face when he's faced the Cubs in his career to put up those numbers?
Mm-hmm.
But I like the fact that he's had success again. Here's my issue with Dylan Cease. He's unpredictable and he's worse on the road.
That is true.
So that's just my issue. I've seen him. He could strike out 9 and allow 5 runs. He could strike out 9 batters and allow 5 runs. Hopefully we see him on a good day. I'm hoping the wind is blowing in general. And I think the expectation is it will be. He's been susceptible to the long ball. But like I said, I don't think there's a perfect option for game 2 or game 3. So go with Dylan Cease. He's had good career numbers, and hopefully it's not an elimination game when he pitches in game 2. Hopefully you're up 1 game, not down 1 game.
He did pitch against the Cubs 1 time this year. Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't the greatest outing, but he only allowed 3 runs, gave up a homer to Michael Busch. He had 6 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Where was it?
It was
like Petco or Chicago?
I think it was at Petco. Well, actually, hold on. Hold on.
Dude. Okay.
Anyway, the point is he has good numbers against the Cubs, and that's why they chose him for game 2.
I think you're right in terms of that's why they chose him.
Yeah.
He pitched against the Cubs at home on April 14th.
It's a long time ago.
You know, all of this.
Yeah.
The whole Cubs,
because like I said,
season
his last
series.
start at Wrigley was last year when he went 7, struck out 12.
Right.
And he was fantastic.
Right.
So he didn't pitch at Wrigley Field this year. That was at home against the Cubs. And I think, going into this series, he has enough rest under his belt. He's been pitching better of late. And this is a big spot for Dylan Cease in game 2 because his career postseason numbers in general are awful. And we saw what happened last year, or what he looked like last year. He was really bad.
Yep.
Now that was against the Dodgers, but still, Cubs aren't a team that just can't hit and they can't score a bunch of runs because they absolutely can.
They were top 5 offense the first half of the year. Now they haven't been, but they have gotten Kyle Tucker back. By the way, the Cease start was so long ago. Here are the players that played in that game for the Padres: Jason Hayward, Tyler Wade, Martin Maldonado, Oscar Gonzalez.
Oh my gosh.
All appeared in that game for the Padres. So that's why, all of it matters, but only to some extent. It's like when I heard something today. What was the stat I heard on YouTube? Justin Turner has hit Nick Pivetta lifetime. He's 5 for 8 with 2 home runs and 2 doubles. Okay. Justin Turner has hit Nick Pivetta lifetime. Does that earn him a start just because? Because Turner is 5 for 8. Does that mean he gets the start at third in that game? Yeah, maybe.
DH.
But again, it's is past performance indicative of future results? Sometimes that's the thing. And you can go down that. Usually teams like to go down that path because they have the evidence to then answer on it.
What's the saying in baseball? Ownage is ownage. And sometimes if you own a guy, you own a guy.
True.
And it doesn't matter if it's in the postseason or regular season.
Right.
Whenever you face that guy, you own him.
Exactly.
I think Justin Turner also has fantastic numbers lifetime against Joe Musgrove. And there are other players that own certain players. It's just how the sport works for whatever reason. And it goes both ways. Like I know Dylan Cease, trying to remember his name. He was it's on the tip of my tongue. Plays for the White Sox. Padres almost traded for him.
And Dylan Cease, what him?
No. Dylan Cease versus this certain player who was on the White Sox.
Luis Roberts.
Luis Robert. I think that's who it was.
Okay.
I think that's who it was. I hope I'm right. Probably wrong, but I hope I'm right.
I can look it up.
Dylan Cease against Luis Robert lifetime.
Yeah.
It's ugly, dude. It is ugly. Dylan Cease owns him. If it's not Luis Robert,
It's
thinking
someone else.
I'm thinking of somebody else. But
Right.
I remember Dylan Cease facing somebody, and I was listening on the radio, and Jesse was like, "Ownage is ownage," and it was like, "Oh, strike 3, there we go." Just owned this guy. And again, I'm probably wrong, but still, that's my point. Is it can travel into the postseason. So if Justin Turner has great numbers against Dylan Cease, my guess probably in there for game 2.
And the reason I bring it up is they also mentioned Manny Machado has really hit Matthew Boyd. He's 5 for 13 lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Machado's in there either way.
Of course.
But they were speculating. This is a Cubs marquee broadcast team. They were speculating the Cubs could start with an opener to get through Tatis and Machado before bringing Boyd in for the 4th batter of the game. But for whatever it's worth, it'll be Matthew Boyd. It'll be Nick Pivetta, and it'll get underway tomorrow at 12:08. All right, what are the odds, the sheer odds, the Padres advance and the Padres make a run in the postseason? We'll share those with you On the other side, plus Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider from Chicago at 5 p.m. Kevin Brown, play-by-play for Padres and Cubs on ABC, will join us at 4 p.m. We're here until 6. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, Padres and Cubs tomorrow at 12:08 p.m. We'll be watching tomorrow at 12.
And we'll have full reaction.
We will have full reaction. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Now we're on the air tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Yeah, the first hour might be a little wonky.
Yeah, because the game's going to be on.
Right.
So
But be here once the game ends.
we'll break down tonight's Monday night doubleheader. Be here at 2 p.m. Okay, so here are the odds to win the World Series for the 12 teams that are in. Who do you think has the shortest odds? The best odds to win the World Series in this year's postseason is?
The Mariners.
Incorrect.
What?
Incorrect.
Dodgers?
Correct.
Where are you looking at?
Circa.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I was thinking of Fangraphs. Sorry.
no, Fangraphs, good point. Circa has the Dodgers at plus 425
Makes
or
sense.
4.25 to 1. Then the Mariners, followed by the Phillies. You get down to the tied for 7th shortest odds, right in the middle of the pack out of 12 teams. The Cubs and the Padres are both plus 1,600, 16 to 1 to win the World Series. Now, you then look at the odds to win the National League pennant. Both the Cubs and the Padres are plus 745, about 7.5 to 1 to win the NL pennant, which speaks to this. They're dead even. The fact that the Cubs and the Padres have the same odds to win a World Series or a pennant leads you down a path of either team could win this series. And from there, they're similar in terms of their strengths or weaknesses. It's a coin flip series is my point. The team with the worst odds of winning the World Series is Cincinnati. They're just like, hey, we're happy to be here type situation. We'll see what plays out. I mean, listen, 16 to 1 chance to win a World Series. Certainly crazier things have happened.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, 16 to 1, like it's not a bad flyer.
We just saw in the regular season, the Tigers blew the division by leading it by 15 games. And now they're the final wild card traveling on the road to face the Cleveland Guardians.
Exactly. So
And the Mets collapse. They're out of the postseason and the Reds are in. So we've seen crazier things already happen.
True, but in the postseason,
You're right,
even.
in the
I mean, we've
postseason,
seen 5 seeds like, we've seen like 6 seeds like the Phillies.
Yeah.
Or 5 or 6 seeds like Arizona move on and advance and get to World Series. My point is, I truly believe it's wide open. And the Padres, because of that, hopefully can take advantage that it's wide open.
Well, all right, let's break it down like this. All right. When we're comparing the two, when we're comparing the Padres and the Cubs,
Okay.
who would you give the edge as far as lineup goes?
I think most people would say the Cubs have a better lineup. They have more power in their lineup. They've hit many more home runs.
Who would you give the edge to starting pitching?
With Cade Horton out, I think it's closer to even. That's a great question. I mean, would you prefer Boyd Imanaga? What's added up? Boyd plus Imanaga equals, or Pivetta plus Cease equals? Like, who's got the better chance in those first 2 games? I'd say it's pretty even.
Pretty even.
Pretty even. I mean, of those 4 pitchers, maybe I'd want Pivetta the most of those 4. But Boyd's 12-1 at home.
He is.
So, I mean, at best, it's even.
But Pivetta and Cease have been pitching better of late compared to Boyd and Imanaga.
Good point. So, but would you agree even? Or would you say slight edge Padres? Oh, it's 12-1 at home.
I know. I'm going slight edge Padres.
Wow. Okay. I'll say even.
Bullpen, we both agree.
Advantage Padres.
Home field, obviously, I think that plays a factor here. Where the series is played, obviously advantage Cubs. What about from the manager standpoint? Counsell versus Schilt. Do you think that matters or not?
It probably will. We'll be discussing some managerial decision over these 3 games. I think it could matter. I mean, Schilt's postseason track record isn't spectacular.
Right.
I don't know. You tell me. We'll know more after. I don't think going into the series, they're going to be like, hey, one team is at an advantage or disadvantage based on their manager.
Unless Schilt does something wild, like brings in Mason Miller in like the 4th inning.
Right,
and you're like, what's going on here?
Exactly.
But when we break it down like that, I mean, it's pretty even. It's pretty even. I'm not going massive advantage on either way, even with the bullpen. I know everyone's talked about the bullpen with the Padres and how they have such a massive advantage bullpen-wise. I mean, do they? They have a really good bullpen. Don't get me wrong. But with Jeremiah Estrada struggling of late, he's going to be using the series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's going to be a little bit, of a roller coaster ride potentially. Adrian Morejon has not pitched well of late. This is the first time in his career where he's really put into like a big time situation and spot. Same thing with Mason Miller too, because Mason Miller's never pitched in the postseason. But Robert Suarez, is he this lockdown closer that you have faith that Padres have a 1-run lead in the bottom of the ninth inning at Wrigley Field that Suarez is going to come in against the middle of the Cubs lineup and just shut them down 1-2-3?
No. I mean, we've talked about this a lot in the second half of the year. At that point, you're hopeful, but you can't, But I mean, you'd prefer to have the 4-3 lead in the ninth and try to come back from 4-3 down in the ninth.
But I still would give the advantage to the Padres in that situation because their bullpen, I do think, is better than the Cubs.
How even is this? Tomorrow's game, both teams are minus 110.
Okay.
So, that's all you need to know. And Pavetta's been very good, but Boyd at home has been better than Pavetta has been on the road. We went through the numbers. Boyd at home is 12-1 with a 2.4 ERA. Pavetta on the road has a 3.55 ERA. So they've both been good. Pavetta's 3.55 on the road is fine, but minus 110 just speaks to this thing is a true coin flip of a series. And again, home field, we'll see if it matters or not. The one thing that I keep going back to is like the Padres were 52-29 at home.
Yeah.
So this wouldn't be,
on the road.
And my point is, if this was in San Diego tomorrow, this isn't minus 110 both ways.
But the Cubs weren't that far off as far as their home record goes. I think they won 50 games at home.
But that's my point. Like if this was in San Diego, this isn't a coin flip series.
I know.
The fact that it is a coin flip series
means that these teams are pretty evenly matched, and some would actually probably agree that the Padres are better.
Exactly.
Because
that's exactly what I'm saying.
If this thing was at Petco,
they'd be a clear
decisive advantage.
Exactly.
Padres.
That's my point.
On the road, it's not a decisive, clear-cut favor with the Cubs.
Exactly.
So it could go either way, and looking at this series, however it goes, if they do lose in 3, which I'm predicting this thing is going to go 3.
I agree.
I'm taking the Padres in 3.
Me too.
But if they happen to lose in 3, depending on how it goes, I do think that we'll look back at the fact that they didn't capitalize on some moments in the regular season to give themselves home field advantage. Because in the end, that might be what does them in, is that they're just not a good road team, and they weren't a good road team all year long. And if they were at home in the wild card against the Cubs, chances of them winning go dramatically up.
I just hope what we're talking about tomorrow is a fast start from San Diego. It's been so simplistic. If you look at this year, when they got into their rut, they fell behind early.
Yeah.
And when they were playing, it's as simple as this. Like the team that scores first has so much of a better chance of winning the game, and especially a team built like San Diego that hopefully can sit on leads. So hopefully they can score early, and hopefully we're talking about a game 1 win come tomorrow afternoon here on Jon Jim. We have you covered. We're just getting started here. There's so much to discuss when it comes to the Padres and the Cubs. Kevin Brown's calling the series on ABC. He will join us at 4 p.m. Will Brinson, CBS Sports senior NFL writer, will join us coming up at 4:30. We'll get into week 4 in the NFL. Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. He joins us from Chicago at 5 p.m. And then at 5:30, we have Alex Cohen, who's called games for the Cubs this year for Marquee Sports Network. He'll join us at 5:30. So we've got you covered. We've got a giveaway today. In fact, we have a pair of giveaways today, including San Diego State football tickets for Friday night against Colorado State. We'll get into the Aztecs. We're now 3-1, winning on the road. Big opportunity against Colorado State coming up on Friday night. We have tickets to give away to see San Diego State and Colorado State on Friday night. We'll kick off hour 2 with more on the Padres and the Cubs. Stay with us. This is Jon Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by eBay. Padres Cubs game 1 of the Wild Card Series tomorrow afternoon, 12:08. First pitch in Chicago at Wrigley Field. Nick Pivetta will be on the mound for the Padres against Matthew Boyd for the Cubs. Padres today also announced that Dylan Cease will be the game 2 starter. And if it goes 3, Yu Darvish will be the game 3 starter for the Padres. Moving over to San Diego State, conference play begins this Friday night. They're 3-1 on the year after their win against NIU over the weekend. They'll take on Colorado State at Snapdragon Stadium. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
How about those Aztecs?
Tied at 3. Snap, hold, kick on the way is up, and the kick is good.
The Scarlet and Black with a big win on the road. Expect a Snapdragon for Friday Night Lights and some Mountain West action. And the Padres end the season with a bang at Petco. Tomorrow, it's Padres Cubs at Wrigley. A full breakdown of the series and reaction to the Aztecs win. Live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, we hear from Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We'll connect with the play-by-play voice on the series. On the national call, Kevin Brown, no relation to Kevin Brown, but Kevin Brown will join us at 4 p.m. Will Brinson at 4:30. Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, at 5. Alex Cohen, Cubs play-by-play for Marquee Sports Network on television, will join us at 5:30. We'll give away Aztec tickets for Colorado State Friday night at Snapdragon, coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Something we didn't touch on in the first hour of the show is the Padres catching situation, because they suffered an injury this weekend to Elias Diaz. His status is uncertain. They've kind of moved heaven and earth here with their catchers. They have like everyone in Chicago. Diaz is there.
They're all there.
Campy is there. Martin Maldonado, like, you're still here? You're there.
Why?
Now, an interesting point that Dennis Lin shared on social media was Elias Diaz has caught every inning Nick Pivetta has thrown this year, other than 1/3 of an inning. Every inning Nick Pivetta has thrown this year has been to Elias Diaz, other than 1 out that was recorded this year. So how much of a factor, if at all, is Diaz's availability?
Well, I did see today that he has expressed, Elias Diaz, that he will be good to go.
Okay.
Now, that's still TBD, and we'll find out come tomorrow morning when the official rosters have to be submitted. But if Elias Diaz can go and he's healthy, that's great from a standpoint of catcher, pitcher familiarity.
The battery.
Right, the battery. And when you have a guy catching somebody for the first time in the postseason, not the greatest.
Not ideal.
Not ideal. But these guys are also professionals, and I'm sure they have talked about it, about the the likelihood if Diaz could not go, if it's Freddie Fermin.
It can't be.
Can't be. Wouldn't that be something? Dude, it's like a 3-run homer in game
Call
1.
the game of your life back there, dude.
Oh my gosh.
It's not campy. It's your point. It's
for
me. Now, Fermin has done a lot of good things for the Padres, but if you haven't caught Nick Pivetta, you haven't caught Nick Pivetta.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just a factual statement.
And also, I do think that slowing down the Cubs on the base paths in this series is going to be an emphasis that the Padres are going to have going in, because Cubs can run. They steal a lot of bases. And if you don't, control the base paths, that could be a problem. So whoever the catcher is, if it's Elias Diaz, he's got to be fully healthy, because he might be throwing a lot down to second base, potentially.
Yeah, it's you just reminded me of something. I wish we had the sound. I was listening to it in my car, but I'm now reminded of it. ESPN did like their breakdown of these 4 wildcard series, and Jeff Passan was in on the conversation, and like the ESPN commentators went down this like path of why the Padres are going to win this series against the Cubs, and Passan was kind of like with all due respect, power matters in the postseason. The teams that outslug the other teams are the teams that advance. And I don't have the confidence that the Padres can outslug the Cubs,
because they're 28th in baseball in home runs hit. But I think that's overly simplistic from Passan, personally. I think it's overly simplistic to be like, well, the Padres don't hit home runs, so they're not going to move on. Maybe that's the reason they don't move on, or maybe any 3-game series. It's not like if you have to hit home runs in a 3-game series to move on. You could get out-homered 3-2 in a series and move on. But Passan was very like distinct and like the Padres don't have the power that the Cubs have, and that is a problem in a series like this. It's going to take the 2-3 hit innings against a good bullpen to make a run, and that's a problem in the postseason. We'll see if it is or not. But, I mean, that was a big storyline in the regular season, the Padres' lack of slug. I think they were better in the second half of the year. They were certainly better over the last 7 or 8 days, and we'll see if that's a huge factor in the series or not. Slug, power, home runs.
Just because they didn't hit a lot of home runs in the regular season doesn't mean that they can't hit home runs in the postseason.
That doesn't mean Tatis doesn't homer tomorrow.
Tatis, he's on one of those runs again in September where you're like, all right, he's heating up. And is he going to take that into the postseason once again? Manny Machado, he can hit home runs, right? He had 27 of them this year.
He can hit them.
Not like the best season from him, but if he hits a pitch and he can hit a home run. Jackson Merrill, he can hit home runs.
Can.
Gavin Sheets,
He could hit a home run.
Ryan O'Hearn,
Could hit one.
you know, just because they're not a home run hitting team per se, doesn't mean that they still can't hit home runs that to be extremely impactful.
Yeah, I never really liked that angle. Like, well, this team hit a lot of home runs. Therefore, again, is past performance indicative of future results? Maybe. I've seen games in the second half of the year in September where the Padres have hit 4 home runs.
Yeah.
I've seen games where they've hit 4 home runs and lose. So it's not the end all. I'm telling you, it's not the end all be all. You can hit a home run in a game. You could be 1-0 home run lead and lose. Or you could trail in home runs hit 2-1 and win. So yeah, is it a factor? Yeah, but is it the only factor? I don't think it's the only factor at all.
It's not, but it is a good thing to have at your disposal. Is if you're trailing 4-2 in the 7th inning, if you're a home run hitting team, you know, you feel confident that you can get back in the game. If you just get a runner on, we're going to hit a 2-run bomb here.
Sure.
Padres have rarely done that this year, especially on the road that I can remember. Maybe I'm wrong, but can you remember many times the Padres were trailing in the 7th inning by a couple runs and
homered their way back into a game?
Right, homered their way back into it.
I'm sure it's happened a couple of times, but not a lot of times.
Yeah, so in the postseason, like, it is a fact you're going to need to hit some bombs. You can't go through a postseason and win a World Series by being station to station.
Agreed. Although we did a deeper dive in the second half of the year, and there are examples of teams that lacked power that won World Series, and it's happened in the last 15 years.
But what do they do in the postseason as far as power goes?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, some of those Giants teams weren't the most prodigious. That Kansas City team was not the most.
But they actually hit home runs. Like, that's my point.
Yeah, I mean,
regular season numbers. Yeah, you're like, oh, a team that's 27th in baseball or whatever, right? But show me what they did in the postseason.
But that goes back to your point: is they are capable. The Machados, the Tatises, the Merrills are capable.
They absolutely
in the postseason.
Absolutely.
They just have to do it.
Yep.
877-767-4760 if you want to weigh in. Again, 877-767-4760, or you can text us 70470. Start your message with the word team. Let's go to Eric on line 1. Eric, you're on with Jon and Jim. What's up, Eric?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. How's it going?
Good, man.
Hey, man.
All right. Hey, yeah, how exciting, man. Playoff baseball once again, right? 2 back-to-back 90-plus win seasons, back-to-back playoff appearances by the same manager, Mike Schill, first time ever. And I wanted to talk about this series. There's nothing more frustrating than not creating scoring opportunities, watching the games as a fan here. You know, the double play, that's always a rally killer. And I think if the Padres can just execute, create scoring opportunities, meaning get a runner on second base with less than 2 outs, I think we got a good chance because a 1-0 lead, it could be polarizing with the bullpen that we have to the Chicago offense. I'm not sure what you guys think about that.
Appreciate you, Eric. I mean, it's impossible to predict the way the series will play out. You may think you have an idea, like the Padres formula.
This isn't football.
Yeah.
It's not basketball.
It's literally impossible
Yeah.
to know if they follow the formula. You know what the formula is? It's 5 from Pavetta. It's leaving with a 2-run lead. It's using your bullpen effectively. It's holding that. I mean, we know what it is, but it's impossible to know if they'll have that 3-1 lead or if they'll be trailing 3-1 in the 6th inning. I know what they want to do. They want to score early. They want to hand the ball to their bullpen with a lead, and they're confident they'll win those games.
Is it a bridge too far to say that whoever wins game 1 is going to win the series here?
No, I don't think it's a bridge too far at all. They'll be the.
I mean, literally every game 1 winner in this new
12-0.
format has won the series. So
They'll be a huge favorite. The game 1 winner all of a sudden becomes a 2 or 3 to 1. You know, like you're a heavy favorite.
yeah,
You have a twice as likely chance of winning the series, or 3 times as likely by winning game 1, or 4 times.
yeah. If they win game 1, I think that takes the pressure off Dylan Cease that he might feel, and I think that going into game 2 and potentially game 3, like they wouldn't feel this overwhelming pressure, especially from Dylan Cease in an elimination game potentially.
Yeah, like I need Cease on the mound with a 1-game-10 lead, not the opposite.
I don't know how I would feel. You're right. If we get to Wednesday and the Padres are down 1-0 in the series and we got Dylan Cease on the mound in game 2.
I mean, my leash at that point is as short as it could possibly be.
100%.
And there were numbers today I saw on social media. It might have been from Too Much Morton's. First time, second time, third time through the order for Cease.
Yeah.
That leads you down the path that you get 9 outs or somewhere in that range, and you feel good about it. And then the leash is really short if anything happens, and you go to your bullpen.
Yeah. Well, another thing too is like, yeah, we talk so much about Dylan Cease and Nick Pivetta and like the pitching staff and the rotation. You know, the Padres offense needs to step up this postseason. They just do. They failed miserably last year. They were not good in that Dodgers series, and they have to be much better. Much better. Like, can you guys give your starters some insurance here? Like, can you make sure that your starters don't have to make a perfect pitch every single time? Can you put up a 3 spot? Can you put up a 4 spot? Can you guys, put a rally together instead of, just going down in order all the time and making this thing, so your starting pitchers have to go out there and try to be perfect.
Yeah. Can what you did the last week of the season carry over?
Yeah.
I mean, they had multiple grand slams.
I know.
They're up 5-0 in first innings. But I have a feeling it's not as simplistic as what we saw against Arizona.
Right.
That's my kid. In Arizona, there's no pressure. You're locked into the 5 seed, right? There's literally no pressure. And now there's a ton of pressure on both of these teams. So can you play loose and free like they've played here over the final week as this series and as this postseason gets underway in Chicago? I have the Jeff Passan audio, Brent. I'll send it to you. We'll hear from Jeff Passan on the other side. His thoughts on the Padres Cubs series. We're giving away tickets to see the Aztecs on Friday night against Colorado State. We'll do that in the 4:00 hour. Kevin Brown's on the call this series on TV. He'll join us at 4. Kevin Acee will join us at 5. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Got Aztec tickets for Friday night against Colorado State, Mountain West opener, Friday at 7:30. You can hear it on San Diego Sports 760. We'll give those away. Coming up at 4:45, Aztecs found a way to get to 3-1.
Oh, they found a way, all right.
Now, was it 40-40 Cowboys Packers? It wasn't 40-40 Cowboys Packers.
At least there's a winner and there's a loser.
Would you rather be the Cowboys tying as an underdog?
You can't really tie in college football.
Fair. But would you prefer that they tied? Get it? You can't do it.
Yeah.
Or that they won? And let me answer it. For all the people, I've heard this so many times, I'd prefer to see 41-38 loss than a 6-3 win. No, you wouldn't, because I haven't heard from one person about the 6-3 win. So people would have freaked out if they lost to Northern Illinois, 41-38. They won the game. Is every game going to be 6-3? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if they can win this weekend against Colorado State and keep it going.
When they play on Friday night against Colorado State, it will tell me more about what type of team I think they are, which is if they go out and they win by 2 touchdowns against Colorado State, and they look really good again.
Right.
And they haven't allowed a point at home. If they go out and they win on Friday against Colorado State, then I'll be on the side of this team's a really good home team. Road issues, but
right.
But getting that win against Northern Illinois, like, it's much better than the alternative. The alternative, if they lost 6-3, it's that Cal win means absolutely nothing.
But they got that win.
Exactly.
They got that win. They're coming home 3-1. And remember, the expectations was, hey, this team needs to get to a bowl game, right? They need to show improvement under Sean Lewis. Well, they're a long way from there because they've only played 4 games, but you can now see the path. I mean, you go 4-4 in the Mountain West, you have 7 wins.
That's good.
You go 3-5 in the Mountain West, and their expectations are way higher than that, but you get you're bowl eligible going 3-5 in the league.
What was your favorite punt of the game?
Hunter Green had some bombs, man. Hunter the punter, he had some bombs.
There's no surprise he's the Mountain West Conference Special Teams Player of the Week.
I don't think he was. He's on the Ray Guy
that's what I saw
for the week for like punter of the week.
How could he not?
That's a great point. Get the Mountain West on the phone, Brent.
Me and Fletch name him player of the game.
Thank you.
How could you not be player of the game? You punted 35 times.
He had like 5 of them inside the 20.
Because we were texting, and you're like, I just want it to be like a 45-40 game. This was on, Friday night.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you texted me. You're like, I just want this game to be high scoring. I want it to be like back and forth. And
it was back and forth.
It was back and forth in the other type of way.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, honestly, it was bizarre, but they won the game 6-3. We'll give away tickets in the 4:00 hour. It's a huge game. It is conference opener against Colorado State. All right. This is what I referenced earlier. I want Jim to hear this. This is Jeff Passan, Baseball Tonight crew, asked about this series. Take a listen.
And Jeff, here are the Padres in the postseason with one of the most talented lineups still in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Eddie, I got to push back a little bit here. I think it does matter that the San Diego Padres are 28th in Major League Baseball in home runs hit this season. I mean, haven't we learned that you win in the postseason by hitting home runs? You advance in the postseason by hitting home runs. They're really, if they can't knock the ball out of the park, they're really going to have to thread the needle there, because when you're facing those mega bullpens in later rounds, the Cubs don't have it necessarily, but others do. When you're facing that, it's going to be tough to string together runs and to go station to station. That's when the home run really matters for them. And that's why they need the power from Jackson Merrill that they haven't gotten this year. And they need Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis and others to step up. And they're going to really miss Ramon Laureano, who had been one of their best hitters since coming over at the trade deadline. He's going to be out for at least the wild card round. Do you think, Eddie, that they can really get past the fact that they don't homer in a game that is defined by home runs in 2025?
I just think it's overly simplified. Do you think every series in the postseason will be won by the team that hits more home runs? Maybe most will. I don't think it's as simple as that.
I don't either. Like I said earlier in the show, the Padres, while they didn't hit a lot of homers in the regular season, they still have players on the team that can hit home runs.
Right.
It's not like they're fielding a bunch of Will Wagners out there.
Right.
Yeah. You got Manny Machado, who, how many home runs does he have in his career?
Over 300.
You got Fernando Tatis Jr.,
pushing 200,
who has 7 homers in the last month. We look at his postseason numbers career-wise. He's like Barry Bonds.
Yeah, seriously.
Jackson Merrill hit 16 homers this year. 24 homers last year. Yes, both can be true. They weren't a home run hitting team in the regular season, but they could still hit home runs in the postseason. We just have to, watch the game and see how it plays out.
It's so funny how people are, and it's like a troll type. Oh, like road record and division titles don't matter. No, division titles don't matter. Do you think a division title is going to carry a team deep into the postseason? What is a division title going to get? I would prefer they don't have a division title with the right matchup to the division title with the wrong matchup. I've said that repeatedly. Now, I'm not saying the Dodgers have the wrong matchup.
We're playing the Reds right now.
but do you want to play, if you move on, do you want to play Philadelphia? Again, the end-all goal here.
Gotta move on first.
The end-all goal is to move on, though. The end-all goal, like what Jeff Passan referenced there, he wasn't even saying they can't beat the Cubs. He's saying, I don't know if I trust them to make a run because without power, they're trying to thread a needle. I go back to what we said, even when the division was in play. I'll take this route. This is not some ridiculously harder route. Both of these teams have wildcard series. Would I prefer they're at home? Yeah, absolutely. That's the clear difference here. And that's where the Padres have absolutely struggled. But you can't tell me because they lost a road series to the Mets in September, they're guaranteed to lose a road series to the Cubs in October. It doesn't work that way. We've seen it a million times over.
The thing that I look at this series that scares me the most, and has like nothing to do with the Cubs, but has everything to do with the Padres, which is I've watched every single game, as have you, as have all of you out there listening and watching us on YouTube. And we know how different of a team they are on the road compared to they are at home. And because they're on the road to start this series, and all 3 games are going to be at Wrigley Field, if this goes 3, that's the part that scares me the most. Is I can't say I've seen anything this year from them on the road that would lend me to believe that, that wouldn't play at least some of a factor.
I agree that if it goes the wrong way, we're going to go there
100%.
And if it goes the right way, we're going to be like second season, unpredictable. Things happen.
Yeah, wipe away the bad road team from the regular season.
Right, baseball. We'll go back to what Kevin Acee actually wrote yesterday in the UT. It might have been published today, but last night online. All of these teams have up and downs throughout the course of the regular season. All of them, including the LA Dodgers. All right, coming up later in the hour, Is That Good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. Kevin Brown, not Kevin Brown of the Padres, but Kevin Brown of the play-by-play caller for Padres Cubs on ABC, will join us coming up at 4:30. Kevin Acee will join the show at 5 p.m., and we have you covered as we get ready for Padres and Cubs in less than 24 hours. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay. Padres and Cubs, game 1 of the wild card series tomorrow at Wrigley Field, 12:08. First pitch, Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Matthew Boyd for the Cubs. Dylan Cease, he's been tabbed to pitch game 2 of the series for the Padres. Yu Darvish, game 3 if it goes to game 3. San Diego State picking up a win over the weekend against NIU. Their conference play begins Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium against Colorado State. Other news around baseball today. Bob Melvin, he has been fired as the Giants went 81-81 this past season. And Monday Night Football, a double header tonight. First up, Jets Dolphins in Miami, 4:15 kickoff time there, followed by Bengals Broncos in Denver, 5:15 kickoff time in that one. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
All right, Kevin Brown, not the pitcher, will be with us coming up at 4 p.m. He's calling the series, play-by-play voice for ESPN and ABC. He'll join us at 4, Kevin Acee at 5. So there was a lot of discussion about this yesterday. I mean, a lot. This is maybe the biggest, discussion point yesterday, the start time on social media, the start time. Now, it didn't surprise me because we had spent, and that's what we do. We had spent a lot of time looking at what was possible. And when you start doing the math on it, you're like, well, either the Yankees or the Red Sox are going to be playing. So they're going to be in primetime East Coast. We also knew the Dodgers were going to be at home. So there was a very good chance the Dodgers were the late game because they're in Los Angeles. So there were only 2 other windows. There was the first window of time, which is always a team like Cleveland. And of course, Cleveland gets the 10 a.m. Pacific start. And then there's that 12 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Central start with Cubs Padres. I always thought the Padres were playing there. I could have forecasted that I think we had forecast that for the last week or so. I get it. It's not ideal. It's a Tuesday at noon, but I always expected them to be playing in this window, and that's where they're playing. And by the way, I think it could have been worse. You could have been playing at 10 a.m. Pacific, like the Guardians and the Tigers.
Yeah, it does suck from the standpoint of if you have to work tomorrow,
if you have a job,
and if you have a job,
you go to school,
what are you going to do?
You don't feel well is what you're going to do.
Yeah, you're going to have
your phone.
Yeah, you're going to have some PTO time, and you're going to be watching all of the games on your phone, depending on what your job is.
That's the thing.
But I agree with you. There was no other spot that I would like. Why aren't the Padres playing there? Because Yankees, Red Sox. I mean, come on.
They're not putting that game at noon.
The execs aren't taking Cubs Padres over Yankees, Red Sox, and then the Dodgers on the West Coast.
Yeah, where are you going to put them?
Defending World Series champs at home.
They're not playing at noon.
They're getting the night time 7 p.m. start or 6 p.m. start. Whatever
it's actually
it is.
6 in LA. So I mean, I'm actually okay with it. I think 2 o'clock Central in Chicago is when the Cubs play. It's not an atypical start time. They can play anytime if the Padres play well, obviously. If they play 10 a.m., great. If they play at 10 p.m., great. Now, I do get it. Is it a challenge for people to watch the entirety of the series? Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
Watching all afternoon long, if you have to pick up kids or you're at work, yes, or you're in your vehicle, I get it. That's going to be a challenge. But it's a little bit like the NCAA tournament. That wild card round has games all day long. Yeah. And unless you're in New York or LA, there's a good chance your start time isn't ideal.
I do think it could take away a little bit of everyone's going to be excited.
Yeah.
But just being at 12 noon on a Tuesday afternoon, it's much different than last year when the Padres got primetime games throughout up until when they lost in game 5.
Okay. So remind me of the Braves start times.
They were like 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock Pacific. So they were kind of in that Dodgers, hey, you're at home on the West Coast. Remember the Dodgers had a bye.
They did. So the Padres
Braves kind of took that spot.
Yep.
At home in the West.
Yep.
And they got that spot.
And it was electric. Yeah. And then you get to the Dodgers series, that game could be played at 2 a.m.
It would have been electric.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you get to this series, there are going to be some people that get off work and be like, what happened in the Padres game?
Absolutely.
And it's going to be very weird. It's going to be a little awkward. If this was on the weekend,
no big deal.
No big deal. It'd be great. But it being during the week, it's going to be a little wonky. It's going to be a little weird.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, these other series, listen, it's playoff baseball and I do love it. And I love these series.
Truthfully, I'm intrigued by them. I think Tigers Guardians is fascinating. If you watched how the regular season finished,
They're all great series.
That's
Except for
Red Sox,
maybe the Reds.
but we
Dodgers.
don't know. We don't. That's the thing. It's like the Reds are so house money and such significant underdogs. And yes, the starting pitching of the Dodgers is a factor and potentially a big one. But that's the thing. We don't know. And Yankees, Red Sox, of course. Tigers, Guardians, because of the way the regular season finished. Padres, Cubs, I think is a very good series. So listen, I think it's exciting. Now, if the Padres go down 1-0 I'm gonna be like, this sucks.
If they lose 5-1 and 4-0 in the
at that point I'm probably out.
Like,
but heading in, I'm into the 4 series in the wild card round.
Yep, I am too. I think they're all great. I think starting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., locked in, dude. Locked in. Because every series, you have 2 series, which is division rivals. Padres, Cubs. I mean, those are got Wrigley Field playoff series in the afternoon. Come on, that's great.
Right.
And then Dodgers, they're going to draw because they're the Dodgers and they're the defending World Series champions. So, yeah, I can't wait. The next 2 days are going to be, if you're a baseball fan, they're going to be fantastic.
They are absolutely going to be fantastic. All right. Will Brinson will join us coming up at 4:30. We'll talk about week 4 in the NFL. Jim's been mentioning this, not 1, but 2 games in the NFL tonight, including the thrilling Jets-Dolphins game in Miami between winless teams. What's the other game other than Jets-Dolphins?
Bengals-Broncos.
Okay, Bengals, obviously, that Burrow against the Broncos. Your takeaways to this point on the week in the NFL, what we saw play out. Again, Brock Purdy returns. He looks awful.
Yeah.
Niners lose at home to the Jags.
Yeah.
Eagles stay undefeated.
Yeah.
Chiefs return to form and look like the Chiefs and score points.
Yeah.
37 points at home against the Ravens, who are now 1-3.
You get the tie last night.
The great tie, 40-40. How about that, by the way, the way it ended? The last play before the field goal where they're like, let's just run a play.
They get 1 second.
They were so lucky.
If that would have got tipped or popped in the air, game over. They wouldn't even tied it.
And then you got Chargers losing on the road to the Giants. Malik Neighbors blowing out his knee because that stadium is awful.
Yep.
The Dublin game, Steelers.
Yeah.
The takeaway from the week that was so far in week 4 of the NFL, I don't really have much other than the fact that the Bills stay undefeated. The Eagles stay undefeated. Those 2 teams are probably the cream of the crop in the NFL.
I do think there's something to be said for Kansas City at least looking like Kansas City in your head.
Huh.
So, and I agree with you. But here's the other thing. Yes, the Niners are done, but there's always another year. Yes.
That stupid team.
It was only 4 turnovers. It's only the Jags at home.
The team is so stupid.
They're still fine though, right?
No, they're done. I'm done with them.
They're 3-1 with a soft schedule.
I can't take how many injuries they get every single game. Every game, a starter goes out with an injury. Now, Ricky Pearsall, he's probably going to be out with an MCL sprain. You got Brock Purdy. Shocker, his toes hurt.
Oh yeah,
after
they're
the
like,
game.
oh yeah, he was hurt. Like, well, why was he playing?
It's just a comedy of errors with that team as far as injuries go. And
do you think they'll be good on the short turnaround with the injuries? Do you think these guys
against
bounce
the
back
Rams
tomorrow?
No, dude. They're going to get killed on Thursday night.
I don't know. That's not true.
Screw that team.
Although the schedule stiffens, Rams on the road, Bucks on the road.
Yeah, that team. I'm so annoyed.
You're done?
I'm done. I'm annoyed with that team because I can't take watching a team that consistently gets injured year after year after year. And it's just not fun. It's not fun to watch a team that's always injured.
Well, what do you want to do about it?
There's
Stay
nothing I
healthy?
can
That's
do.
what I'm saying. There's certain things like we say, what are you going to do? If Ramon Laureano breaks his finger, he breaks his finger.
Yeah, but the Padres are relatively healthy compared to the 49ers.
Well, the 49ers play football.
I know.
The job is to hit someone hard.
Yeah, but still in baseball, you can have a bunch of injuries.
It's true. That's true. And you still have to overcome it.
Exactly. I'm done with that. I'll watch and I'll torture myself, but the expectation has significantly dropped to close to the floor, which is actually a good thing for my mental health.
Because of the injuries or the loss. Let's say, for example, Purdy doesn't fumble the way he did at at midfield yesterday, and they drive the length of the field there late and win. They just win the game. They have the turnovers, they deal with the injuries, but they still win 28-26. What are you saying today?
I mean, the injuries. The win would have helped.
Yeah.
But I can't look past the injuries, dude.
Yeah, for the
Little ouchie?
end goal, I'm with you. Are they winning a Super Bowl
No.
with all their starters out?
It's like yesterday, perfect example of how just snake bitten this team is with injuries for the last 5-6 years. You have a situation where Ricky Pearsall is in the blue medical tent getting his knee checked. Jennings gets the 2-point conversion, right?
Okay.
And he gets hurt. So then he has to go to the blue medical tent. But because Pearsall's in the blue medical tent,
wait.
Jon Jennings has to wait for Ricky Pearsall to exit the blue medical tent. So
You guys have a line?
There's literally a line going into the blue medical tent for this stupid franchise.
There's a line to get medical attention for the Niners in week 4. All right. Is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. On the other side, then Kevin Brown, play-by-play for Padres and Cubs on ABC, will join us coming up at 4 p.m. We'll give away Aztec tickets in the 4 o'clock hour. Friday night, back home at Snapdragon against Colorado State at 7:30. A game you can hear right here on San Diego Sports 760. We'll give a pair of tickets away for that game. A big one for the Aztecs, trying to get to 4-1 overall. We'll do that in the 4 o'clock hour. But is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. That's next on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Kevin Brown on the call for Padres and Cubs on ABC. Beginning tomorrow, he will join us coming up at 4 p.m. Kevin Acee will join us at 5 p.m.
What?
I'm just reading. I hadn't read this, so I don't really want to.
The Kawhi thing?
Yeah, he says that it's not accurate.
Okay. Kawhi doesn't even know what's going on.
Now he said he doesn't think it's accurate.
Yeah, because my guess, because I've kept up on all of this, and this morning Pablo Torre released another video explaining and showing documents showing that Steve Ballmer, even after their agreement with Aspiration was over, he was still paying Aspiration money.
I love how you're like an Aspiration insider. Like you've done like more deep dive in the Aspiration.
Well, all I've done is
then you have like Padres Cubs.
I've just watched and listened to his podcast. That's all.
So what do we say? So are we putting it more on Ballmer?
Oh,
is that what Pablo Torre is doing?
Yeah, he is showing like literal evidence that Steve Ballmer continued to pay Aspiration even after this quote unquote con job that Steve Ballmer claimed happened to him occurred. So why would you continue to pay them after you quote unquote got conned by them? Or at least try to get this money flowing through Aspiration to get to Kawhi.
Okay, so here's my question.
Yeah.
At the end of this, if the Clippers are found to be in compliance, then what happens with Pablo Torre's reporting?
He's gonna have egg on his face, man.
I mean, he is like tripled and quadrupled down on this. I haven't followed any part of the story.
Well, then I do think there will be a section of people, because everyone loves conspiracies,
that say, well, they still did it, but the NBA just doesn't want Ballmer to take the fall.
Because Ballmer is
worth a lot.
The richest owner in, I think, all professional sports. Is right? No, Steve Collins. Steve Collins up there. But Ballmer is definitely the richest owner in the NBA. And, they have the All-Star game at the new Intuit Dome this year. Like he is a huge partner with the NBA going forward because of his power and his money. And if they found Ballmer guilty of this, they would have to lay the hammer down. They would have to. And that would mean, I don't know what it would mean, but it wouldn't be pretty.
But I feel like the league, because there's other owners in the league as well, would want the investigation to be an accurate one, because it's not like you can't really cover up. Yeah, there might be conspiracy theorists that say you're going to cover up for Ballmer and the Clippers, but what about the other 29 teams? Wouldn't the other 29 teams be in favor of a legitimate investigation?
Absolutely. And you hope it's legitimate. I don't know.
I mean, I guess why wouldn't it be? Like, why would you protect the LA Clippers?
But look, if you're going on like a 2.5 hour road trip and you want something to listen to Pablo Torre and his podcast. You listen
to that whole thing?
Well, it's the first one was, I think, an hour and 20 minutes long. And then he's released, I think, 2 or 3 more.
So you're a good 4+ hours in?
I haven't listened to everything, but I've kept up on it. And it's fascinating how Pablo Torre keeps finding how Steve Ballmer continued to pay Aspiration a bunch of money to equal what the max contract would have been if Kawhi signed a max contract with the Toronto Raptors. So when Kawhi went to LA, went to the Clippers, he couldn't sign for the max like he could have signed with the Toronto Raptors.
Are you saying he has found evidence that supports that they made up the difference?
Yes.
They found the difference.
Through Aspiration.
All right, Jim will have more on that story throughout the course of the investigation. Right now, let's get to this.
So yesterday afternoon, Rams beat the Colts 27-20. That's not the story, though. Adonai Mitchell. Did you see this?
I saw it, yes.
Clear as day touchdown.
Yeah, at the one?
I think he went like 70-something yards.
Yeah.
And makes a great catch, great move. He's in the open. No one's going to catch him.
Yep.
And he reaches the ball out before the end zone. He fumbles it into the back of the end zone. It's a touchback.
The other way.
The other way.
Yep.
costing them 7 points. They lose by 7 points.
Great.
I mean, just an all-time blunder of a moment.
Kind of a Leon Lett. Yeah.
I mean, this was really, really bad. Brent, is that good?
No, it's not good. Are you
I mean, just clear as day, and you see it, and as soon as he fumbles it, he knows. Oh,
and you actually see, like, at least in college, I've seen that so many times over the years. Like, how on earth could that happen?
Hold the ball through the end zone. It's not hard.
And they have every camera angle. You have to do it.
Yep.
My first one is this. This is very analytical. Brock Purdy sucks. Is that good?
How's that? Wait.
It is good.
So it's good that he sucks?
Is that good?
I was agreeing that he sucked.
Yeah, like he's agreeing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, he sucked yesterday. He's not healthy. He played awful.
Is he washed?
I had a stupid argument with my friend that he was trying to convince me that Brock Purdy was actually good yesterday. And I'm like, look, I've defended Brock Purdy in the past.
You sure have.
But I can't defend that. That was awful. And I also can't defend the fact that the dude over the last, I think it's 17 games or 18 games, has 16 interceptions. Like that, you got to be better, dude. You are now the franchise quarterback of this team. You got paid $260 million. You can't be making stupid mistakes like you made yesterday. You fumbled. You threw 2 interceptions. I get it. Both of them were tipped, but still, they were bad decisions. And usually in the NFL, when you make bad decisions, you're going to get burned. That was a bad game from Brock Purdy.
The funny thing is, John, when you were gone on Friday, Jim said that they shouldn't start him this weekend. They should wait until Thursday.
They might not want to start him in general.
Well, it's just
hurt again.
It didn't make any sense that you're going to start him. He's not healthy. Clearly, he sailed everything yesterday. And oh, by the way, his foot now hurts. And then the next game is on short week in LA on artificial turf. No wonder everybody on that team's always hurt.
You want to continue? Is that good, or you just want to yell about Brock Purdy?
Bob Melvin. Bob Melvin was fired today after 2 seasons with the Giants. They went 81-81 this year. Did not make the postseason at all in the 2 years as the Giants manager. Brent, is that good?
No, it's not good. Are you kidding me?
Well, with this GM change in San Diego, he'll be back in 2026. We're kidding. Kidding. Okay, my next one. The Padres are red hot. Is that good?
Yours are just straight to the point.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're 7-1 heading into the postseason in their last 8. That's good.
Very good.
I'll take it.
We'll see how if the theory actually pans out.
Exactly.
All right. The turf at MetLife Stadium. Is that good?
MetLife or MetLife?
MetLife, whatever. The turf at MetLife Stadium. Is that good?
It's like seams in it.
No, it's not good.
It's like Veterans Stadium in 1999.
Since 2019, 16 players have suffered ACL or Achilles injuries at MetLife Stadium, the most in the NFL, based on data compiled via news reports. Detroit, Charlotte, Cleveland are the other 3 that are closest to them, but Detroit has 5, Charlotte 6, Cleveland 6.
Yeah, you know the difference?
Charlotte has grass.
You know the difference? Other than that, 2 teams play at MetLife.
That is true.
So double the numbers.
But still, these are kind of alarming.
Oh, it's crazy. It's been like that for a long time.
And everybody hates that stadium.
Everyone does.
It's the number. It's every player will tell you in the NFL that stadium's the worst.
Yeah, it's like, again, the 3 Rivers and the Veterans Stadiums and the Cincinnati's
but
back
hey,
in the day.
There'll be grass for the World Cup.
Will there? Yeah, I hope so.
As I roll my eyes deep in the back of my head.
Why don't they just have grass in general?
Yeah. What are we doing?
Okay, my last one is the Packers and Cowboys tied. Is that good?
No,
by the way, watch that entire game, as I'm sure a lot of people did.
Me too.
Micah Parsons had 1 play in the entire game. I was watching him like intently.
And they credited him a sack.
It was a sack on that one. He ran down from behind Jordan Love in a big spot. It was an important play in the game, and that was basically the whole game for Micah Parsons. All right, on the other side, Kevin Brown. He's calling Padres Cubs on ABC, not the former Padres pitcher, but the play-by-play voice for ESPN and ABC. He'll preview the series for us coming up. On the other side, Will Brinson will join us at 4:30, and at 5 p.m., our Padres Insider Kevin Acee will join the show. This is Jon and Jim. Stay with us.
This update is brought to you by eBay. Padres Cubs game 1 of their wild card series starts tomorrow afternoon at Wrigley Field, 12:08. First pitch, Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Matthew Boyd for the Cubs. Dylan Cease has been named the game 2 starter, and if he goes 3, Yu Darvish would be on the mound for the Padres in that scenario. Moving over to Monday Night Football tonight, we have a double header. First up, we have Dolphins and Jets in Miami. And then at 5:15, Broncos Bengals in Denver. And San Diego State, coming off a win this past weekend against NIU, will start their conference play coming Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium against Colorado State. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
Would I give AJ Preller an extension? Absolutely 100%.
That's my thing. You give him the 2 years.
But here's the thing. We don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes.
Completely.
We don't know the dynamic that has taken place over the last couple of years with all the changes that has happened since the passing of Peter Seidler. If AJ were to walk, or if they mutually part ways, I don't think I'd be surprised.
I agree with that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know what they're going to do. I will say this. If they do mutually agree to part ways, I think AJ Preller's a GM in baseball next year.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim. We're here until 6 p.m. We'll be joined by our Padres Insider Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. But we're going to connect right now with Kevin Brown, who will be on the call for the Padres Cubs series on ABC. He's been with us a number of times over the years, calls Orioles games as well in Baltimore, and with us right now on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Kevin, hope you're doing well, man. You're in Chicago, presumably, and the weather is... I was just there this past weekend, by the way. So we missed each other. I was there for San Diego State, Northern Illinois, and you're there for Cubs Padres. Where were you this past weekend? And thanks for hopping on.
Yeah. Are you a Heisman voter?
He is
you
a Heisman voter.
I am. Are you?
When did you become a Heisman voter?
Let me walk you through this.
Were you a Heisman voter when you and I were calling games together in Syracuse and Lehigh Valley? Did I not know that?
Oh, no, of course not.
No chance.
Here's the deal, real quick, because people want to hear about Padres and Cubs, but they probably want to hear how I became a Heisman voter too. I get a DM.
Know your audience.
I got a direct message like at the end of last year, like, are you a Heisman voter? I'm like, I'm not. They're like, do you want to be a Heisman voter? I'm like, I do. There's your story. That's how I became a Heisman voter.
Simple as that.
So I voted Genti.
What process is this? Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
Can you have them DM me? I don't work in college football anymore, but I want to be a Heisman voter.
You want to be a Heisman voter? Here's the deal. I want to call Padres Cubs. You
Switch.
take my vote. You can work with Jim on the radio in San Diego.
How much of the game do you want to call? Like, if I give you a batter, what do I get? Do I get to pick the 10th place vote on your ballot? How does that work?
That's the deal. Yeah.
Like, can you get the third batter in the 4th inning?
That could be the most important batter.
It could be.
We don't know. Let's get to this.
It could be the Crone Zone.
It could be. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
All right. Kevin Brown's going to be on the call. We've been talking about this series for basically a week plus because we knew it was going to be Padres Cubs. We just didn't know where it would be officially, although it felt like Chicago. Now that we know it and it starts tomorrow, it feels like the teams are evenly matched. What are your impressions of where these two teams are heading into this 3-game series that it feels like should be a toss-up, right?
I think it's going to be a blowout. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I think it's going to be the biggest run differential in wild card history. Padres 17-1, and then Cubs 22-0. I think it is very evenly matched. I do. I think it's evenly matched because I think, I don't look at either team and go, that's a great playoff rotation. And I think Nick Pivetta is the best starting pitcher in the series, but this is kind of a new thing for him. And Matthew Boyd really fell off in the second half. Shota Imanaga fell off in the second half. Dylan Cease, who knows? You guys know that the answer is who knows. So like if Cade Horton's starting for the Cubs, to me, it's advantage Cubs, and he's not. So I think the uncertainty in the starting pitching makes this a toss-up series. The Cubs have the better lineup. The Cubs are better defensively, and the Cubs are a better base running team. But the Padres have, as your listeners very well know, the bullpen to beat. I think the Cubs have gotten a little closer with the bullpen they've developed down the stretch. I think they figured some roles out. they had an injured catcher to the deadline that helped. I think the Cubs have a few more areas of strength than the Padres, but Padres had the best starting pitcher in the series, and that could mean the difference tomorrow. So, if Pivetta goes 5 and they have the lead, like you guys have seen it all year, the game might be over, and that might be enough. So I'm fascinated. I think it, I'm biased because I'm here, but I think it's as fascinating a wild card series as any. And either of these teams could be out in 2 or they could be in the NLCS.
How much stock do you put into the Padres' road struggles this year? We talked a lot about, if they were at home, Padres would probably be a heavy favorite. On the road, they're not a favorite. It's actually kind of a toss-up this series, but still on the road this year, Kevin, they're 1-10 against playoff winning teams, or at least playoff teams this year in series. The only series when they had was against the Brewers, and that was like 3 months ago. How much stock would you put into that?
Did you say that was 1-10 against playoff teams in road series?
Is that accurate? But we've said it a lot.
It might have changed.
That sounds like a note I should really say on tomorrow's ABC broadcast.
Check it, but check it, but it may not be one.
Not checking it. No, I'm just saying it. It's fact.
Say it. And if it's wrong, then blame me.
It's bad. I know this. It's not good. It is against good teams. They were bad on the road.
Yeah.
I think it's a real thing, and I think it's partly the Cubs home field thing is a real thing. The Cubs were 50-31 at home, which is a little worse than the Padres were at home, but not much. Right. 2 games worse. I think the Cubs embrace Wrigley. And if you look at the Cubs numbers, the Cubs have about 40 more stolen bases at home than they do on the road. Because Wrigley, which has this historic perception of a field where anything can happen and the wind's just as likely to be blowing out as it is blowing in, isn't really that park. It's been a much more pitcher-friendly park the last couple of years. And talking to John Shambi, the wonderful voice of the Cubs, he said, really, the wind has been blowing in well more than half the time this year. So the Cubs play to the conditions, and they have the team speed, and they have the base running acumen to beat you on the base paths. So I don't know that the Padres are going to have to play Cubs ball. I don't think they can tomorrow because Matthew Boyd is the league leader in pickoffs and one of the toughest pitchers to steal on it. And the Padres aren't a big base stealing team anyway. But I think the Cubs might have a little bit of a home field advantage. They have constructed their roster a little more for the elements. So I don't know if it's as much Padres struggling on the road because it's postseason, it's best of 3, who knows, as it is. I think the home field Wrigley thing is real for the Cubs this year.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. Kevin Brown, by the way, we just looked it up. Jim looked it up. He says they're 1-9 in road series against teams that are in the postseason this year.
Yeah.
1-9 against teams that are in the postseason this year.
I mean, it's too bad. I
forget that stat
after 1-10.
Yeah, forget the stat now.
Forget it.
How big of a loss? Let me ask you this. You saw a lot of Ramon Laureano, and he had hit very well for the Padres. He had cooled off. He had cooled off, honestly, in September, but he was a difference maker for the Padres. When you look at the lefties that the Cubs are going to throw, and now the Padres have so many lefties in their lineup, how much of a factor is not having Laureano?
It's huge. Yeah. As you mentioned, I call games for the Orioles. So this is like Orioles West for me, seeing Ramon and Ryan O'Hearn, who's magnificent. And both those guys are great. Obviously, Manny Machado and Ryan Flaherty, the connections run deep. But Ramon Laureano, it's funny. The Orioles obviously got off to a very poor start this year, and they could not hit lefties. And the Oriole fan base, for about 2 to 3 weeks at the start of the year, was in full-on revolt every time Ramon Laureano started against the lefty because he got up to this really bad start. And why'd you sign this guy? If he can't hit lefties, he can't play, play the young kids. And then Ramon Laureano did this funny thing, which was he just started hitting righties. And he became indispensable against righties. And then he started hitting lefties, and he started hitting everything. He was the Orioles' best offensive player and probably their best player overall for about 2 months. And I thought it was real. He went to the Padres. Obviously, it was real. That's a guy who belongs in the postseason. That's a tough guy. That's a fearless guy. He's a great competitor. And it's a huge, huge loss for this series, to answer your question, because you're probably going to have to play at least one, if not both, of Ryan O'Hearn or Gavin Sheets. Do they trust Bryce Johnson to make a postseason start? I know he's better defensively, and so maybe that plays in Wrigley, but that's a guy who's a top of the order hitter, particularly against lefties. And, you know, the Cubs not only have the lefty starters in Boyd and then Shota Imanaga, who I imagine will start game 2, though we don't know that. They have 3 lefty relievers, and 2 of them, and Drew Pomeranz and Caleb Fieldbar, are quite good. So I'd expect the Cubs to get as many of the 27 outs as they can from left-handed pitchers.
Padres are not a good home run hitting team in the bottom half of baseball this year. How much stock or how do you look at a team, you know, trying to make a postseason run that can't hit homers? How do you view that and their chances to advance and to go on to hopefully get to a World Series when this is a team that has not hit homers this year at all?
Yeah, I feel like we see every year, you know, some statistic. Like for my friend Sarah Langs, it's like teams to out homer opponents are 196-1 in the postseason or whatever. I think it's fallen off maybe a little bit the last 2 years, but it's a real thing. I guess the good news for the Padres is they've ended the season with a bit of a home run tear comparatively, and Fernando Tatis Jr. could kind of change all that by himself. But, you know, maybe this is a series where it doesn't matter as much because of everything I said about Wrigley. It's a tough home run park right now. If the wind is blowing in, it may be more about who does the little things. And even if the Padres aren't a great base stealing team, they are a great team at the little things, the way they bunt, the way they move runners over. And in a low scoring game, maybe you don't need to manufacture runs by stealing all the time. Like maybe about bunting and advancing runners and making contact. That's a real thing. You know, the Cubs have a good pitching staff and a good bullpen, but it's a bullpen that's 15th in strikeout rate. It's rotation. It's a pitching staff, I should say, that's 21st in strikeout rate. So the Padres are going to put the ball in play a lot. They typically do anyway, but this is not a big strikeout team. So I expect them to put the ball in play a ton. And maybe this is a series where the home run thing, because of the ballpark and because of the pitching staff, won't be quite as impactful. Because also, I don't think the Cubs are going to hit a ton of home runs, especially against the San Diego bullpen. And again, they weren't homer crazy at Wrigley Field this year either. So you look at the other series, like Detroit and Cleveland, that's going to be a very well-pitched series. Not a lot of home runs there. The Yankees-Red Sox could be a homer fest. Dodgers-Reds at the Dodger Stadium, that could be a homer fest. This and the Cleveland-Detroit series, I think, are the least home run reliant of the wild card rounds.
Here's the one thing I think I know. If Fernando Tatis Jr. reaches on a walk or a single, the Padres will try to bunt him over. Like they have wrapped their arms around small ball in September. Now, to your point, they've hit for more power here, but there were series earlier in September or August where they were like playing the Colorado Rockies and bunting in the first or second inning against a team that had no business being in games with them regardless. So the way Mike Schilt wants to manage, they really maximize every single base, every single one-run lead. That's my expectation. I feel like the Padres will try to beat the Cubs the way that they play baseball, which is just get a one-run lead through 4 or 5 innings, rely on that bullpen, where the Cubs might be more reliant on bigger innings. And it'll just be interesting to see like which style is able to work over 3 games.
I think it makes sense. I mean, one of the numbers that stands out to me in my prep today, you know, I like to look at what pitchers do times through the order, right? You hear about the starting pitcher pays the 3rd time through the order penalty. Against Nick Pivetta, first time through the order, league's hitting 157, slugging 471. Or not slugging, I'm sorry. OPS of 471. That's one of the best first time through the order pitchers in baseball right there.
Mm-hmm.
Second time through, it's 637, which is still pretty good. The third time through, it's 683. Like, if there's a real third time through the order penalty, well, he's not going to face the Cubs for a third time. I'm just going to go ahead and predict that now. You guys have seen the Padres bullpen a lot more than me. Nick Pivetta is not going to face anybody for a third time unless it's 8-0 and he's, spinning a no-hitter. The first time through the order number, like, you can't hit this guy. So with that bullpen, and with a guy who doesn't allow anything the first time through the order, if he is what he is for 3 innings and the bullpen is what they are for 4 innings, okay, is Pivetta going to get through the 4th and the 5th cleanly? Is that where, Michael King type steps in? Is that where Mike Schilt extends his other arms for a couple more outs? But I think that's one of the big advantages they have. And
it's a reason you play shield ball, right? Like it's a reason you bunt a guy over, especially against Matthew Boyd, who you can't steal a base against. So if you're not going to steal second, all right, bunt him over to second, get a couple of balls in play and hope one of them falls. I don't think it's a crazy strategy in this round. Now, you get to the Brewers, they're kind of a turbocharged version of that with the way they bunt and run. That's for another day. But I think that's the way to beat the Cubs. And the bullpen seems to me, and again, you guys have seen a lot more than me, seems to me like they've had a good handle on how to use them down the stretch. And, talking to some Padres folks today, they feel like they maybe overexerted the pen a little bit in the middle of the season, and they've got them back into a place where everybody's full go for the postseason. And then Mason Miller, not having been overexerted because he was pitching for the A's, they think that's a guy who may be getting 5 or 6 outs a little more routinely.
Yeah, expect a lot of Mason Miller this series, I feel like.
More importantly, though, where are you getting pizza tonight?
Because
I'm an idiot. Okay, yeah. Wait, hold on. Time out.
No.
All right,
dude.
No.
Yes,
dude.
No.
I go downtown. I go downtown Friday night. I'm like, surely I'll find a deep dish. I go to Wrigley. I'm walking around. It's spectacular. It's like 75 degrees out. Every place in the world is open.
Great.
I find the one place that doesn't have deep dish pizza. I end up ordering. I showed you the picture, right, Jim? I'll have to send this to you, Kevin. I bought tortellini pizza. It was pizza with tortellini on top. It made no sense.
I'm so mad at him.
And so I just didn't know what to do. So I just ate it. And yeah, Jim was mad at me. So like, where are you going?
I think Kevin hung up.
Hang on a second. I'm getting a call. It's the Heisman Committee.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What's that? Oh, is that a rule? Okay. Apparently one of the bylaws is if you order tortellini pizza in Chicago, you lose your Heisman vote.
I know.
I can't believe this guy.
You know me. I don't know.
I do know you. You. I don't want to say you don't care about food.
I don't care.
But
he doesn't.
You don't care.
I really don't. I just was hungry. I needed something.
Yeah, I'll be getting steak.
That's smart. It's smart. Yeah. All right, Kevin, we've taken up too much of your time.
I specifically will request tortellini steak.
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. Thanks for hopping on. Have a good call tomorrow.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, Kevin Brown on the call for ESPN and ABC. We'll get to the wrap coming up. Will Brinson on the NFL.
Pizza in Chicago.
At 4:30. Kevin Acee at 5. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBS Sports, will join us in about 8 minutes. We went a little longer there with Kevin Brown. So, yeah, the tortellini pizza real quick. Here's the thing. Can I just tell you what happened?
You already told me what happened, but
I know. But
tell our listeners.
The thing is, I got scared. I went into a pizza joint near Wrigley, and I just assumed they would have deep dish pizza. And I looked at the menu on the wall. It was like one of these walk up places, or I'm inside and I can order at the counter.
Yeah.
And I looked at the menu and I looked at what they had out, and I got all scared because I didn't see any deep dish pizza. So I'm like, can I have that? And it was the pizza with tortellini on top.
So you froze.
I froze and I was like, do I leave? I was the only person in there, which is a problem, I think. I'm trying to find this photo again. Again, it wasn't great.
Now let me ask you this.
It doesn't look great.
Let me ask you this. Did at any point, you can put your phone.
No. I want to keep it there for the rest of the day.
Okay, fine.
I'm freezing.
Hold your arm. You're gonna freeze. Just hold your arm.
Yeah, unplug the camera.
You know you can see all the other photos on there too. It's fine.
There's nothing bad.
Okay, good. Did at any point
what could possibly be down there?
I don't know. Did at any point while you were looking for deep dish pizza, did you think to yourself, let me use my phone to find deep dish pizza?
It didn't cross my mind until you made fun of me when I sent you a picture of the pizza.
Right. I'm like,
why didn't you look for that pizza? I'm like, oh, in Google?
Yeah.
You're an iPhone commercial. It wrote itself.
He's like, I found 10 places within a third of a mile.
Yeah. I looked for 3 seconds and I found 5 different places with good deep dish pizza.
I was starving and I did a full loop around Wrigley to get
You have a phone for a reason. It's a walking map.
Such an idiot. Because I'm not going back right now.
Now, you said this was a walk-in place or is an actual restaurant?
I wouldn't call it a restaurant. More of a pizza parlor.
Okay.
You go in, there's a counter, they have some pizza, they got a pizza oven. There's a place you could sit, but you order at the counter.
I'm imagining the person that you ordered from when you asked for a tortellini pizza.
He was like,
they went in the back. They're like, dude, someone ordered the tortellini pizza. And everyone's just laughing their ass off.
Dude, I sent it to you. I sent it to Kristen. I was like, what did I just order? And both you and Kristen had the same response. Why?
Why did you do that?
You're in downtown Chicago. That's the best you could do?
The best you could do in downtown Chicago is tortellini pizza.
Yeah, you're not gonna find a lot of deep dish at by the slice type places.
It's usually by the yeah.
Well, because real Chicago deep dish, you can't walk around and eat a slice of it like normal, pizza because it's practically
where should I have
tomato
gone?
sauce pie.
So I was supposed to go to a restaurant and order it?
Yeah, that are an actual pizzeria place, and they probably would have delivered it
next time.
I mean, I just looked up
deep dish
on
Chicago.
ChatGPT. I'm like, give me the best deep dish Chicago pizza places near Wrigley Field.
And how many did it have?
5.
So I basically missed out on 5 spots.
Yeah. You could have easily gone to a lot of good Chicago deep dish pizza places, and you chose tortellini pizza.
Next time. All right, Will Brinson. We'll switch gears. Will Brinson getting us ready for two games tonight. One's underway. Dolphins and Jets, that thriller. But we'll look back at the week that was in the NFL. We'll look ahead as well to the upcoming week. So Will Brinson is going to join us coming up on the other side. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay. Padres Cubs game 1 of the wild card series tomorrow, Wrigley Field, 12:08. First pitch, Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres, Matthew Boyd on the mound for the Cubs. Dylan Cease will start game 2 of the series, and if it goes 3, Yu Darvish is slated to pitch game 3 for the Padres. Other news around the National League West today: Bob Melvin has been let go as a Giants manager. In San Diego State, they beat NIU over the weekend. They're 3-1 on the year, and they'll take on Colorado State to start conference play come Friday night at Snapdragon Stadium. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it with eBay. You find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
All right, Will Brinson will join us momentarily. Senior NFL writer, CBS Sports. Eventful weekend in the NFL. 2 more games tonight, including one we're watching right now between winless teams in the AFC East, the Jets and the Dolphins. So we'll get Will Brinson's take on the week in the NFL coming up shortly. Kevin Acee from Chicago. What kind of pizza is he getting tonight? He will join us at 5 p.m. Alex Cohen calls games for the Cubs. What kind of pizza is Alex getting tonight? He will join us at 5:30 from Chicago.
All right, Will's going to call us now.
You're right. He is like magic.
Yeah. It's our phones.
Yep.
Call out from a blocked number, and Will very smartly has turned on turned off all block numbers on his phone.
Well, then I want to start there with our NFL Insider. How does that work? Will Brinson back with us from CBS Sports. How does that work? Because I get the most annoying calls.
I got one today.
I mean, sometimes the annoying calls are honestly from right here at 760. But how do you make it where you don't get the annoying calls?
You can the easiest way to do it, you can search in the, like, if you go pull down and just search, you can search silence, and you can turn off. It won't ring from calls that you don't have saved in your phone.
I got you.
So what I'll do, and with y'all, because it's blocked, I can't save it. But I radio hits with my buddy Adam Gold in Raleigh, and I have 99.9 The Fan saved. I just save radio stations now instead of just recognizing zip codes. So it's kind of a pain, but I mean, I get 10 plus an hour random calls.
Yes.
Because of whoever had the phone before me, I guess had major health problems or life problems or something.
Oh my gosh.
It's a nightmare.
Okay.
You're excuse me?
I want to spend more time there, but for our listeners, let's get to the NFL. So what happens yesterday, let's start with Chiefs Ravens, right? Chiefs get this win. They look more the part, but what about the concern now with Baltimore? Lamar Jackson's health, their 1-3 record. What is your concern level coming out of that?
I mean, I think it's got to be pretty high. The real saving grace here, guys, is that division just doesn't look very tough. True. I mean, the Steelers are 3-1 and in first place. The Bengals could move to 3-1, obviously, if they win on Monday night when they play in Denver. I mean, they're 7.5-point dogs, so seems unlikely, and the Browns aren't very good. So, you could spin it 2 ways, I guess. One is, they can be patient with Lamar Jackson. The defense, to me, is the bigger issue. I mean, they've given up 30 points in every game. You can run on them. You can throw on them. Marlon Humphrey now out for a little while. So, they're really banged up on defense and have been terrible, abysmal to start the season. And I know they've, played some theoretically, good offenses, Chiefs and Bills and whatnot. But, if you can't stop anybody, you're asking a whole lot out of your offense. And if Lamar's hamstring injury lingers, I know he wins from the pocket. He's a great passer. He's developed into that. I'm not trying to say that, he needs his hamstring more than anyone else. But I think for a guy who's so explosive on the ground and brings that dynamic athleticism when he's running, a hamstring injury, just the way that he moves and that just feels like something that could be a problem for them. And I think any team that's 1-3 should have the panic meter 8 or higher, right? But at least for the Ravens, the division looks like it's really bad, and they can rip off some wins inside the division and probably stabilize themselves.
Barring injuries and health permitting here, it feels like the Eagles are inevitable. They didn't particularly play a great game yesterday. I mean, AJ Brown this year, I think he's got 13 catches on the season. Puka Nacua had 13 catches yesterday afternoon. But they just continue to win. And if they are healthy here, Will, doesn't it feel like they're just inevitable?
It does. I will say that they have lost the yards per play battle in all 4 games, which is, I saw the stat from Todd Furman, which is really interesting because only two of the teams have lost the yards per play battle in all 4 of their games, the Panthers and the Titans.
Wow.
And those two things are not alike, right? I do think that the Eagles, there's a little bit of like Chiefs, like a Chiefs-esque nature to it, or maybe even the Patriots where, all right, like they know they're really good. They don't have to be perfect on offense. And I don't think there's panic about their offensive identity just yet because we've seen them win in different ways. But it feels like what they're trying to do right now early in the season is just sort of stack wins. And I think it's a good approach. I mean, just, it doesn't, I think that they know, coming off a Super Bowl win, believing that they can, defend that and win back to back. I think you've got a team that is trying to sort of slowly has the benefit of being able to ramp up slowly to start the season. But certainly, I mean, if you're losing the yards per play battle, you usually if you lose the yards per play, to the other team, you're going to lose the game. And they've gotten a little bit lucky in that regard. So I think that's what they're trying to do. And it's sort of bland. And they're dealing with a new offensive coordinator, of course. It's not like spicy or explosive. Maybe it comes back to bite them in the next couple of weeks. But I just see this team, as they sort of develop that identity, they have so many weapons and so many different ways to beat you. I think it'll all kind of take shape about midseason and they'll start cruising.
Will Brinson, CBS Sports, with us right now. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. You look at the Chargers yesterday losing in New York. Are there long-term concerns with anything you saw from them yesterday, or is it just a blip that inevitably happens over 17 games?
I mean, I think the biggest concern is that, let's see what happens with Joe Alt, right? I mean, this is now both of your starting tackles. Right. And I mean, that is a major red flag for any team, up to and including, Jim Harbaugh-led Justin Herbert, quarterback team. I do think the Chargers are one of the, 5, 6, 7 top tier teams. The Ravens are like teetering on that as well. I mean, you can kind of identify them. To me, I thought that was kind of a, we do this Circa Millions. We're debating our picks. You have to pick 5 against the spread. And like one of the guys I'm in there with wanted to use the Chargers. And to me, it just looked like that 6.5, like the Packers at the Cowboys and Chargers at the Giants. With Jackson Dart starting, I felt like they were definitely going to use his legs, Dart's legs, and be really creative with him. I think he brought a lot of energy to that Giants team. I think they'll be better moving forward. So for me, probably more of a week 4 blip after an incredible start to the season. You win 3 games against division opponents to start the year. You're feeling great. You 1 o'clock sleepy Sunday start New York against a bad Giants team. To me, it feels like more of a blip, but I am definitely watching the injuries, particularly with that offensive line, because of how they want to play.
So did you guys in your Circa Millions pick either Packers or Cowboys for your pick 'em there, or what happened there if you did?
No. I said we were not taking both.
Oh.
They look like layups. They look like free wins. It's like they're very obvious picks. They're going to be chalky, and there's just something fishy about both of them. And so we didn't take it neither. We went 4-1 this week, actually. Only loss was the stupidly taking the Vikings overseas. Like, why are we backing Carson Wentz?
Real quick, Jim,
Carson Wentz in Dublin.
And before you ask your question, Jim, by the way, if you play Circa Survivor and there's a tie, you're out. So if you play
crazy.
Survivor, you're out.
Right. Yeah.
Dude. But not again. Point spread's different, but if you play Survivor, you're out.
Anybody who had the Packers last night is not thrilled about that outcome.
No, they aren't. Especially the clock operator leaving 1 second on the clock there. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, right.
We'll go to that game there. 1 second on the clock. It's like Jerry's like, are you guys serious? Clock operators, you're fired. I mean,
right. He did say we've got to get better clock operators.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. What are we leaving a second on the clock for? Come on. I mean, in that game, Micah didn't really have a big impact. He was credited with the sack. I know they gave him a sack there, and Dak played fantastic, and Jordan Love played fantastic. It's hard. I mean, what do you take out of last night's 40-40 tie here, Will?
Yeah, I mean, just a crazy, right, like game to kind of cap a pretty crazy Sunday. I felt like with some decent upsets and some surprising outcomes. Like, I would say that I think for me, I sort of struggle with the Packers. They looked so good in week one. Yeah. And then, looked like they were going to be one of the best teams in football, maybe the best team in football, maybe the best defense in football. And then you go and you lose in Cleveland. And I get it's the look ahead game, but if you're going to lose in Cleveland, you then have to come to Dallas and blow out the Cowboys. And I've been impressed with the Cowboys. I mean, I think, considering they lost CeeDee Lamb, considering they traded Micah before the season, first-year coach, first-time coach. I think Dallas has been pretty impressive. Now, I don't think they have, what it takes to go, win it all. And they've been on the bad end of some losses here, of course. But I think Dallas and Dak Prescott's playing awesome football right now, and I think that's kind of the big takeaway that we thought maybe. All the changes and all the issues they had and everything might lead to maybe Dak taking a step back, but he's been fantastic. And then I think with the Packers, it's like, are they playing with their food? Is this, they sometimes they don't feel like they have that second gear that I thought we were going to start to see from them a little bit. And so I think I just have some red flags about Green Bay, but we get back home. I think they'll be fine, certainly in the mix in that division, which looks, but I would put the Lions as the favorites to win that division at this point now, given how they're playing.
Yeah, Lions are great right now.
Will, my final one before you go is just on, what are you watching for tonight? We're watching Dolphins Jets. Jets just had the worst fumble.
We're doing him a favor by having him on the phone and not have to watch this game.
I mean, what's intriguing for you tonight? I mean, Dolphins, Jets, Broncos, Bengals. What are you watching for tonight?
What do you got on the line?
So I'm really interested to see what Sean Payton cooks up in this game against a bad Bengals defense, because Bo Nix has been okay. He's maybe you could even say he's been not great. I mean, he's regressed. You look at him in the pocket, he's like throwing jump passes a bunch, missing those downfield shots. And I just think Sean Payton is the type of coach who, and I mean, all coaches want to do this, but I think Sean Payton knows how important it is when you get this spot as a huge home favorite against a just terrible defense in the Bengals. And you have these weapons in Troy Franklin and Cortland Sutton, Evan Ingram back now too, the two-headed running back. I want to see how Bo Nix plays in relation to, does he take a step forward to kind of ease people back off of concerns surrounding his play in the pocket and his footwork. And because I just think Sean Payton's the type of guy who's going to scheme up some stuff to make Bo Nix look really good in prime time. Not quite a standalone game, but pretty close at home against a bad defense. And I think there's a decent chance we get one of those kind of like Bo Nix explosion games tonight.
Liam Cohen versus Robert Saleh. It's hard to not take Robert Saleh there, right?
Yeah, I think Robert Saleh is going to win that battle between Liam Cohen. A lot of first-year coaches struggle with some stuff. We see Ben Johnson with it, Liam Cohen with it. Just some sort of questionable decision making among from these first-year guys.
Will, we appreciate you hopping on as always. We're watching this thrilling Jets-Dolphins game as the rest of America is, and we'll catch up with you again next Monday to react to it all. But we appreciate you hopping on. Thanks, Will.
All right, boys. Talk to you next week.
I think I need to text Will. I don't know if you knew what I was talking about.
And I didn't know if you were going to follow up on that.
No, I kind of, okay. As he was going, I was like, okay, didn't know what I was talking about. I was referring to at the end of that game. And because over the course of the week, Liam Cohen and Robert Saleh had a back and forth.
Yes. And then that played out on field afterwards, right?
Yes. They almost got in a fight.
Yes. Yep.
Because Robert Saleh mentioned like sign stealing,
yes,
like legal sign stealing. And Liam Cohen, first-year head coach for the Jags, had exception to it.
Took it as a slight. Even though he said, well, no, I wasn't trying to do that.
Right. He's like, I credited you for doing what you do. And then post-game, Robert Saleh tried to go up to Liam Cohen, give him a handshake. Liam Cohen said, get out of my face.
Yeah,
and then they had to be held back. And I'm like, yo,
oh, wow,
we got a coach's fight on our hands here.
That's exactly right. All right. Call right now. We have a great giveaway.
Call right now if you want 2 free tickets to see San Diego State, Colorado State Friday night at 7:30 at Snapdragon Stadium. The Aztecs are 3-1. This is their conference opener. Call 877-767-4760 right now if you want 2 free tickets to that game. Now, here's the deal. First 2 callers will be contestants for trivia. We're going to play trivia on the other side. If you want your chance to win it, 2 absolutely free tickets to the Aztecs and the Colorado State Rams, call 877-767-4760 right now. We'll give away those tickets on the other side. Kevin Acee will join us at 5 p.m. This is Jon and Jim. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Caller 2 dropped off. So Jerry is waiting to play Trainwreck Radio. It's trivia. With some of the calls right now, if you want 2 free tickets to see the Aztecs on Friday night against Colorado State at Snapdragon Stadium, call right now if you want those tickets. 877-767-4760. You'll play Jerry in trivia. Call right now if you want 2 free tickets to the Aztecs on Friday night. Again, the number to call, 877-767-4760. Call right now, 877-767-4760. Kevin Acee from Chicago will join us coming up at 5 p.m. Alex Cohen, who's called Cubs games all year for Marquee Sports Network, will join us coming up at 5:30.
This Dolphins-Jets game feels like a very Thursday night-ish, middle of the season game.
Did you say AFC title game? Is that what you said?
I know.
It's not an AFC. Now, okay, let me ask you this. Dolphins lose tonight, and they very well might not. Okay.
That was a cool play.
If the Dolphins lose tonight, is Mike McDaniel gone? 0-4, losing at home to the Jets?
That seat is red hot. right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to sit here and talk much Dolphins football in San Diego, but yeah, this is a pretty big game for Mike McDaniel tonight. You can't lose to the 0-3 Jets.
Yeah, at home.
Yeah. 2 0-3 matchups. Like, come on.
Yeah, you can't lose that.
No.
By the way, I'm reading what Kevin's has written, and we'll catch up with Kevin in 10 minutes. He put out a notebook here from Chicago. And one of the talking points here is about what they're going to do with Elias Diaz. So, and that's honestly, that's probably as big of a story that is not going to be talked about like it's some massive deal. It's a massive deal for Nick Pivetta.
Yeah.
Because Elias Diaz has caught all of his innings this year. We've talked about this a little bit earlier. They brought the 2 extra catchers. I mean, Luis Campusano is not
every catcher in this organization is in Chicago.
I mean, Martin Maldonado, we thought we had seen the last of him. And now he's in Chicago and could be active on their roster.
He's like a cockroach.
It just can't, he won't go away, right?
Right.
So,
there.
I mean, what's your guess? That Diaz is on the postseason roster and it's much ado about nothing?
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
your guess?
I think so. And I do think that whenever Pivetta departs tomorrow, then you're going to see Freddie Fermin get into the game.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
Look, there's a lot that has to go into this because the game within the game here is that the Cubs will try to run on Pivetta.
Right.
And if you don't have a healthy Elias Diaz behind the plate, that could, be trouble.
But Fermin's been good in the run game, right?
Yeah, but what I mean is like if Diaz is starting the game,
right,
and he's not 100%,
I got you. Yeah,
you're right. He can't, get out of the squad.
No, that's a good point.
So that's where I'm looking at here.
Yeah, I liked what Kevin Brown, who's calling this series on ABC, had to say, which was Pivetta, those first two times through the lineup has been really good.
Yep.
First time through, he's been as good as anyone. I guess my point there is hopefully you can cut down on early traffic, be clean early. And then I think when you're Mike Schilt and you're Ruben Niebla, you just have to consider where you are in the game when you go to that bullpen. So you could be less than 2 times through the order and potentially go to your bullpen, even with your ace out there in Pivetta. If he could somehow navigate something like 5 innings facing 18 batters, maybe that's wishful, But again, I like what Kevin had to say about he's been so good first time through an order. And he's been pretty good second time through an order and not as good that third time through. The Padres are going to be acutely aware of this, and they're going to be content to go to their bullpen early, even with a guy like Pivetta on the mound, would be my guess.
Some numbers for Nick Pivetta that are good numbers. Day games this year, he has a 2.34 ERA. Night games, 3.17.
Okay.
Not a huge difference, but still, I mean, a sub 3 ERA in day games, which is really good. On the road this year, he's got a 3.55 ERA. We've talked about that. Home games, 2.36. So he's much better at home than on the road. In September, leading up to the postseason, he's got a 3.09 ERA in his last 4 starts. When you look at his year against righties and lefties, pretty much identical. Righties are hitting 205 off him. Lefties hitting 185 off him. So yeah, I just the biggest number that sticks out to me is the road ERA compared to the home ERA, and he's been much better in day games than night games. For whatever that's worth.
What sticks out to me, and just again bringing it a little full circle on our conversation earlier about AJ Preller's uncertain future per The Athletic, is this was as good of a signing as he's had. I mean, this was so savvy
easily
to bring Pivetta in to be your game 1 guy. If this deal doesn't happen, you're in a world of trouble. I don't know if you're in this position. I don't know if you have this seed. They absolutely have relied heavily on Nick Pivetta, and they will moving forward. Like we've talked about the calculus not working without Michael King. Well, guess what? Michael King's not necessarily starting. He's not starting in the series. We don't know if he starts in Milwaukee if they advance. The Pivetta thing now, without King being healthy like he was in 2024, Pivetta now makes this thing go. I mean, it's as simple as that. You can't have the Pivetta that in his first start at Wrigley Field went 3 innings, allowed 3 runs. They need the Pivetta that pitched at Petco against the Cubs in April when he went like 6 innings and allowed 1 run. But he's a big part of the equation for the Padres this postseason, Nick Pivetta.
Oh,
and all year long, he's been a big part of it.
You're absolutely right. AJ Preller, say what you want about him, but the last 2 years, he has such a great track record of making really good moves. And, it definitely outweighs the bad. Like this year, yeah, he made some bad moves. Martin Maldonado, Jason Hayward, not having a left fielder forever.
Right.
True. I'm sure we go back in the start of the season, the bench that the Padres had,
Yep.
like, what are you doing? Right. But he corrected all that at the trade deadline by picking up Laureano and O'Hearn and Miller and Fermin and in filling up, those weak links that he talked about, fill in those holes. And then last year was a flawless year from AJ, like flawless. I mean, every move he made was good. There wasn't one move last year they did not make that was like, it's not gonna work.
It felt like lightning in a bottle until it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the postseason.
And then this year, it's like Nick Pivetta, great move. So far, Mason Miller, great move. Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano, even though Laureano's hurt, great move.
Mm-hmm.
Pivetta at the start of the season, great move. Fermin,
I think it's an upgrade.
It's an upgrade over Martin Maldonado for sure.
All right, let's talk more about
great.
it. We'll talk more about it with Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider. He is in Chicago, and this series will get underway in less than 24 hours, the wild card series between the Padres and the Cubs. Kevin Acee at 5. Alex Cohen, who has called Cubs games all year for Marquee Sports Network at 5:30. This is Jon and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres Cubs, first pitch tomorrow afternoon, game 1 of the wild card series, 12:08 in Wrigley Field. Dylan Cease will start game 2. Nick Pivetta starts game 1. Matthew Boyd on the mound tomorrow for the Cubs. Looking over at the NFL Monday Night Football, we got a doubleheader right now. Dolphins up 10-0 over the Jets with 9:15 to go in the first half. Broncos Bengals kick off at 5:15, and San Diego State beating NIU over the weekend 6-3. They'll take on Colorado State Friday night at home at Snapdragon Stadium to kick off conference play. Cue the easy button because it's almost easy deal days at Staples starting October 5th. Enjoy 7 days of saving on over 1,000 products online in your local Staples stores, from tech, chairs, luggage, and more. Get a sneak peek of all the deals at staples.com. Staples, that was easy.
All right, final hour, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, well inside 24 hours until this wild card series gets underway at Wrigley. Always great to connect with our Padres insider, Kevin Acee, as we have all season long. And Kevin, I think you realize the postseason is here. Let's start with Elias Diaz. What is the latest on Diaz? Because this is a pretty significant story. He's caught all these innings this year for Nick Pivetta. What is your expectation? Will he be active tomorrow or not?
If I had to bet, based on what I'm hearing, is and first of all, he worked out, right? Mm-hmm. But it's this kind of thing. You're not going to push it 100% because you don't want to hurt him while you're working out and getting ready. They'll decide in the morning. If I had to bet, I'm going to say Diaz is going to be active, and they'll have 3 catchers because you can't go into this with a question about Diaz and not have somebody there. If like he were to go out in the 3rd inning or something and not have somebody there for Freddie Fermin, but whoever that is, probably be Luis Camposano since Martin Maldonado has not played in 2 months. But that person will catch only if like Fermin's arms and legs fell off. So it is that's the situation here. Is that I think Diaz is going to go. Does he make it through? Don't know. And I think they'll have 3 catchers just in case Freddie Fermin then were to get hurt.
Man, wouldn't that be something?
Arms and legs. You're talking about significant injury.
Yeah, he lost his arms and his legs.
I'm trying to tell you how badly they do not want Luis Camposano to catch.
Right.
Yeah,
they made it clear with their actions.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
How surprised are you that's Dylan Cease game 2 and Darvish game 3 if we get there?
Not. Now, look, here's the situation. And I say I'm not, and I could back it up because I wrote Saturday night that looked like Dylan Cease was going to be the guy. But and Michael King, Randy Vasquez to the bullpen, and if there's game 3, then looks like it could be Darvish. So they wanted it to be Michael King, sure. But you know what? His 2nd and his 3rd starts gave them enough pause that by the time they go into Saturday, they pretty darn sure what they're going to do. And they pulled Michael Cease after whatever it was there in the 45 pitches or whatever. And, he's going to be ready to go, probably not tomorrow, but maybe Wednesday. And then if he doesn't have to pitch, he's game 1 for the division series. So Dylan Cease coming off his best 4-game stretch. Okay. Moreover, always has in the past. Don't know what that means considering his present, but has in the past pitched well at Wrigley Field, and this year and last pitched well against the Cubs. So I get it. You got to go with reality. Oh man, here's the thing: was there really a guy that stood out that should be the guy?
No, that's the thing.
Yeah. So there you go. Right? Like we can be upset, and we can all whatever. You can have your opinion, and I know that Michael King was that was what we thought, right? Or that's what we like, and that's what they thought and what they hoped. But it's just not what they saw, and I can see what they saw. So look, one of these guys was if they're going to go 3. Someone was going to have to pitch better than we expected, and that was basically going to be anybody they put in there. So. Hey, they're going with the big arm, as Mike Schilt said today, and a guy who, has pitched better.
I know that Pivetta has been their horse. He's been their ace this year. But in this series, Kevin, Are they going to have a short leash with their starters and lean heavily on their bullpen, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, every conversation with someone from the organization about their confidence, and I think they are very confident. I shouldn't say very. They're confident about this series, right? Because very implies like, I don't know, maybe over or something. They're not. They're confident about the series, and it has to do with the bullpen. That said, like, if there's a guy who's going to have a longer leash, it's Nick Pivetta, because that really helps you out too. Right? Like if Nick Pivetta can give you 6, oh my gosh. First off, that means that this very dangerous Cubs lineup has not done enough damage to get him out of the game. And so the Padres are probably in a really good spot, right? Or it's 0-0, one or the other. But that also then means you haven't asked anything of your bullpen. You haven't asked your bullpen to basically get you through game 1, which means they're probably in good shape going forward after that. But they are fully prepared that every game, everybody is in play. And that goes from, whatever, inning 1 on, that's obviously disaster scenario. But yes, shorter leash, absolutely for sure. But Pivetta is the one guy where you're going, man, if he could give them 5 quality, 6 quality, that would presumably set them up really well.
It absolutely would. Kevin Acee is with us right now, our Padres insider from Chicago. What do you think the value is, Kevin, of the way they played down the stretch? That final week, they played well collectively, but then individually, there were some standout players, including Fernando Tatis Jr. Does it matter, in your opinion, or not, heading into the postseason?
What you hear from the team is as much as the, 7 out of 8 was the individual performances. Merrill, Tatis, tiny bit of Machado, who else? Merrill and Tatis are the ones that they're pretty excited about. That these guys are especially Tatis. Look, he's unquestionably the MVP of this team. But that was based on he just played well. He played well in the field. He got on base a lot. He made things happen on the bases, and no one else was great. Well, now you're talking about homers in 3 straight games, whatever it was, 6 in the last 12, and big moments, and Tatis just looking like Tatis. And they're pretty fired up about that, and they do believe, now we'll see, but they do believe that and that how Merrill has looked, gosh, before he went on the IL, but then especially in September when he came back, how he's looked, and then the power stroke being there, that they're pretty fired up about the individual performances.
So looking at the bullpen and the roster construction here, when they have to announce their postseason roster for the Wild Card Series tomorrow morning, would you expect Bradley Rodriguez to be on it? And if he is, how would you see him being used in this series, if at all?
Well, what's interesting here is if you're going to go with the 3 catchers, you can eliminate an infielder, right? Mm-hmm. Which is probably what happens, and they keep the 13 pitchers. You can, you eliminate like Mason McCoy or something like that, right? But or you could eliminate a pitcher, and that would, I would think, because you probably want Matsui's pitched well enough to get himself on there, and so. Because I have Rodriguez on there. So, but before getting to that and actually answering your question, Jim, I wanted to kind of run through the scenarios here of how he could not be on there.
Right.
But I really do think that he will be on there. And it's look, 4 or 5 pitchers. That's what someone said to me today. 4 or 5 pitchers that you hope aren't used, right? Like you hope King and Vasquez aren't used, right? Unless there's some really secret sauce scenario they have for game 3, right? That you're hoping you have guys like Rodriguez that aren't used, because you're not, unless other guys have just had to pitch too much. He's not coming in a higher leverage situation. Is it game 3 and you're tied in the 6th inning and you need to wait because you've obviously used your high leverage guys and you need to wait? That could be a Bradley Rodriguez situation. Sure. That could be a David Morgan situation. But those types of guys, when we're talking about their bullpen being their strength here in the postseason, we're talking about the 4 guys primarily.
Kevin Acee with us right now from Chicago. I'm curious, Kevin, because I'm not sure if you were there for this or not. Were you part of the scrum with Manny Machado post-game yesterday or not?
No, but I heard it.
Okay, you heard it.
I was on a plane. Yeah.
Okay. What is your? I mean, it was a very blunt, reaction from Manny about what I found to be a very.
He doesn't like you, Kevin.
No, it wasn't. He doesn't like reporters apparently, and you are one of those.
Which one?
The one,
the classic Manny scrum. So
the one where he was asked by AJ Cassavell, are you like your sense of urgency is like what you reporters? That's why I don't like reporters who use words like urgency. Like, is urgency a bad word?
There's one word in particular that Manny doesn't like. I have had multiple one-on-ones or in a group with Manny where the word urgency is used, and Manny hates the word urgency. He doesn't like it to be put on him, because I've actually had one-on-one conversation / interviews with him where I've used the word urgency. He's berated me in that way and then gone on to use the word urgency.
Yeah.
And talking about how the Padres are playing. He just does it. It's like it's a bell. It's urgency. Oh, I have to react this way, and tell reporters that they make stuff up. That's Manny's take on the word urgency. And I think it has to do with he's had that kind of used against him maybe over his career, right? That Manny doesn't play with urgency or something like that. I don't know what it is. 2023, he got tired of that word where they weren't playing with enough urgency. Last year, they started slow. Like, he just hates that word.
Well,
apparently
he does. Apparently, I
could play you the tape one time. I believe it was in Pittsburgh, 2023. It was one of Manny and I's kind of knockdown dragouts. And then we talked like every day during that series. And there was this team meeting that Manny called, and he berated me first. And he went on to use the word 3 more times in the proper context about how they need to play with more urgency.
It was
hilarious.
It's Manny being Manny, and look, if he performs in the postseason, like, from a fan's perspective, like, who cares, right? But like at the same time,
hey, from a media perspective, I tell people around the country all the time, I love covering this guy. And they look at me like I got 3 heads. First off, he made the team I cover relevant. He keeps you on your toes. He makes me laugh. Can he be a real pain in the ass? Like 1,000%, but who cares?
Yeah. Going into this, postseason stretch here, there's going to be a lot of questions in the offseason, whenever that is. Hopefully it ends with the World Series. But if it does not end with a World Series, Kevin, these conversations will have more after the season. But, AJ Preller here, how are you looking at this postseason run for AJ Preller's future?
I haven't addressed it because it's not a thing. Is it possible? Sure. I mean, I've been asking about it. Is it possible that AJ's not back? Yes, I guess it's possible. Who knows, right? There's talks that have to happen about certain things like there are every year. AJ Preller's coming back, and is probably going to get an extension or will get an extension. I'm almost positive of it. I don't think it's a thing.
I think he should. I don't know the inner workings, but it's like, let's not overthink this. Like, don't outthink the room. You're winning you're winning enough. And I don't care if they win 2 games in Chicago or lose 2 games in Chicago. I think it's inconsequential to the job Preller has done in terms of pointing this team in the right direction.
I think you put it well. I like that. Don't overthink it, because arguments can be made. Sure. Right? Yeah. Like, arguments can be made for the same as I would assume that you could definitely do about like Brian Cashman or, whatever, any of the long-term GMs or maybe any GM. You can say, well, here's why he should stay. And you can have a lot of stuff on that side of the ledger. You can have some stuff on the other side of the ledger about AJ, sure. But what about the 4 playoff appearances in 6 years? And what about the fact that he just rebuilds and rebuilds and rebuilds? And what are has that vision gotten you to the best place this organization has ever been? So unless there's some other stuff, then why would you not bring him back? That's kind of how it is.
We agree.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, we appreciate it. We'll catch up with you when? After game 2?
After game 2, yeah.
After game 2.
And here's the thing. This is the great thing about this time of year. Not only can you advance, right? So Wednesday we could be talking either, oh boy, 1 more game to go.
Yep.
Oh wow! I just got, I'm soaked in champagne, right?
Yep.
Just got out of the clubhouse. Or season over.
That's crazy. It's crazy to think about how it could end that quickly. And we all talk about October baseball. There's a chance they could only play 1 game in October, which is crazy.
Which is true. Well, they better have some urgency.
Yeah.
Kevin.
I'm going to remind Manny. I was so tempted because I wasn't there yesterday, and I love riling him up. It happens more than you guys know, or that anyone knows. It just not everything's on camera or whatever. The guy's pretty funny, and I was so tempted today just to do it in the press conference, but I don't like to do that. It's called winning the press conference or whatever. I don't like to do that. That's not a thing. But I do. But I would have loved to see his reaction there for all the national,
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Yeah,
Kevin, always appreciate it.
I'd love to go up to Manny before Game 3 and go, is this a must-win, Manny?
Please. Oh my gosh.
Kevin, we'll talk to you Wednesday. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, brought to you by the all-new Humboldt Casino Resort. The Players Place. Let's react to what he said about Kevin Acee. Not about Kevin A. I sometimes call Kevin Acee AJ Preller and AJ Preller Kevin Acee. I think both Acee and Preller are back. We'll react on the other side. Alex Cohen calls Cubs games on Marquee Sports Network. He'll join us at 5:30. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego Sports 760 congratulates all our $5,000 winners and iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. There's still time for you to nominate a public school teacher making a difference, and maybe they'll be one of our next winners of $5,000 to make over their classroom. Help us say thank you to the educators shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Alex Cohen calls games for the Cubs on Marquee Sports Network. He'll join us coming up at 5:30. Kevin Acee just referred to AJ Preller's future as not a thing. So he said it's not a thing. He says things can happen, but he doesn't see it as a thing. The idea of his future being quote unquote uncertain.
Okay.
That was Kevin on the record, right? This is the record.
It is the record.
I mean, this is in the public forum saying he doesn't think that Preller's future is a thing.
And when you talk it out,
I'm talking.
How dumb would it be for them to move off of AJ Preller after back-to-back postseason apperances for just the second time in franchise history, back-to-back 90-win years, and who knows, maybe they get to a World Series. I'm not going to say they're going to win it, but
it's one thing if he leaves on his own accord.
That's one thing.
I'd still put some of it on ownership because there's probably a reason why you're leaving.
100%.
Okay, that's how life works. You walk into your boss's office, they either say they want you or they don't. And then you make a decision.
Yeah, if they put a contract in front of you and you decide that you don't want to work for that person anymore, or you're sick and tired of working in a certain place,
or the contract's not fair, I deserve more than one additional year. I deserve this much of compensation. So, okay, but that's not all on the organization if AJ walks. If the organization walks away from him, as I said to start the show, I'm not going to go crazy right this second, but I'll be like, that's a mistake, in my opinion, if the organization tells AJ Preller thanks, but no thanks.
Huge mistake.
I think that's how I would look at it.
And regardless of how they would split, if they do, I would put a lot of it on the organization.
Agreed.
And I don't know if I could put any of it on AJ. Because if he left on his accord and he said, we're going to mutually part ways here. I want to go do something different. I feel like I've tapped everything out here. I see the writing on the walls. The future of this franchise, like for me to operate the way I want to operate and how we've operated around here in the future, going in the future, I don't know if that's going to be possible. So this is my last ride. And if he left, then I'm not putting anything on AJ, and I'd put everything on the organization to force that decision from AJ.
Right. Which goes back to the initial point. It may happen. It may very well happen, but I still think it's dumb if it happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it absolutely may happen. I don't fully understand as to why. I do get the idea of sometimes you need a change in leadership or you need a new voice. I don't think it applies here. But John, they haven't won a World Series. I get it.
No, yeah.
But it's black and white to me. They weren't a good franchise when he got here. Yes, it took a while.
It took a while.
Yes, there's highs and lows. But by and large, in the 2020s, he's gotten them in the conversation of where they need to be. There's been some failure in there, but I don't understand if it wasn't the right time in 2021 or 2023, why is it the right time now? Just because Peter's no longer in charge of the organization?
Maybe. I mean, maybe that's it, right? And sometimes maybe you need to change the scenery. Like maybe, you go in and you're doing a job and the people that hire you are all gone and you're left and everybody around you is different.
Yeah.
Maybe you're like, I didn't sign up for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to be here, but I wanted to be here because of the people that hired me. And now looking around, everybody's different, or at least, you see a lot of new faces, and then you see some other people inside the organization that you might not get, you might not get along with very well. Eric Grupner. Then, maybe you got to look at your time and be like, hey, maybe it's time for change.
Yeah, I'm with you. I certainly am not going to go on like a high horse and be like, it's not happening, because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just telling you, and you're saying the same thing. I just think it'd be a poor decision.
I think so too.
And honestly, would reflect very poorly on the people making the decisions in the organization.
Yes, it would.
So what does it say about the organization if you're moving on in this manner right now at this time in the history of the organization?
It would be a bad decision.
All right. Alex Cohen calls games for the Cubs. Marquee Sports Network, his thoughts on this series that gets underway tomorrow and the impact of this injury to Cade Horton on the Cubs' chances to get out of the series and potentially make a run as well. So Alex Cohen will join us on the other side. Jim's back page is still ahead. We're here until 6 p.m. We have a giveaway for you still, don't we, Brent? We have a giveaway for you. We'll do it in the final 30 minutes of the show. We have a pair of tickets to Judas Priest and Alice Cooper, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, Saturday, October 18th. We'll do that coming up. But Alex Cohen calls games for the Cubs. He'll join us next on Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. We've been telling you about the hotel and spa at Jamul Casino Resort. It's now open. The next level of luxury, it's arrived. You can treat yourself to a stunning new stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, and all the thrills of Jamul Casino Resort, now all in one unforgettable destination.
And tonight is the last Monday Night Live $100,000 punch out with 10 winners every hour at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and 9 p.m. Your odds, they're better than ever. Plus, Onyx players are going to receive an extra $500 in cash bonuses on top of their winnings. You can play by getting 2-time entries tomorrow with at least $500 in cash for winners, a chance to win up to $100,000. This is a promotion that you will not want to miss.
Make sure to check out as well Jamul 23, endless dining every day. Savor San Diego's ultimate endless dining experience at Jamul 23 at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. We'll start with Monday Night Football, give an update on both of the games happening right now. Dolphins lead the Jets 10-0, 10 seconds left to go in the first half there. Broncos Bengals underway in Denver. Bengals have an early 3-0 lead over the Broncos, 9:08 to go in the first quarter. Tomorrow, Game 1 of the wild card series in Chicago. 12:08 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Matthew Boyd for the Cubs. Cue the easy button because it's almost easy deal days at Staples starting October 5th. Enjoy 7 days of savings on over 1,000 products online and in your local Staples store, from tech, chairs, luggage, and more. Get a sneak peek of all the deals at staples.com. Staples, that was easy.
All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We've got 13 chances to win $1,000 every weekday with the Bonus Bucks giveaway every hour, 6A through 6P. Listen for the keyword that entered at sportssd.com. Next chance to win $1,000 coming up at 6 p.m. in about 30 minutes. So we're trying to connect here with Alex Cohen, who, believe it or not, interned for me.
Everybody interned for you.
Kevin Brown did not intern.
They've all gone on
passed me.
to do bigger and better things. They have all lapped you significantly.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that you work with me.
All right, here's the deal. Alex Cohn is with us right now. What do you got, Brent? We have Alex, right? Now, my partner here on the radio, Alex, and Alex calls games for the Cubs for Marquee Sports Network. Jim says that all of my former interns have lapped me and made me look like an idiot.
It's true.
Which may be fair. I mean, Alex interned in AAA, then had a successful minor league broadcasting career. Now is calling games for the Cubs, and I work with you.
Yeah, John Fanta is now like the star of all stars.
Yeah, Fanta didn't really intern for me, but he kind of worked with me at Seton Hall. Alex, how are you, man? Thanks for hopping on.
I am doing great. And just to like verify what you were talking about here, we have not lapped you. You are doing great things. And, you know, we're racing the same race right now. So I'm Team John Schaefer on
See,
this
Jim,
one.
you moron. I'm kidding. Thank you, Alex. All right. Alex Cohn is with us right now from Chicago. Let's talk about this series. Padres and Cubs should be a really good series. We'll see if it plays out that way or not. I mean, you've covered the Cubs obviously all season long. What's the impact here of not having what was expected to be maybe their game one starter in Cade Horton, and how could it be overcome?
You know, I think it's something that we could talk about game two. I mean, if you can get an all-star caliber performance from Matthew Boyd, and he was an all-star at the beginning of the season, and he's pitched like an all-star at home, then the impact of Cade Horton isn't as big. But if Matthew Boyd struggles and the Padres get that game one victory, then the Cade Horton impact is enormous. So I think it's really dependent on if your all-star left-handed pitcher in game one can give you some quality innings.
How has Matthew Boyd pitched of late? His home record is phenomenal, 12-1 with a sub-3 ERA. But I mean, of late, the numbers don't really show. So how has he looked recently for the Cubs?
He's looked a lot better at home. I think that's just when you look at his stats, he's looked pretty good against left-handed hitters. But overall at home, he's been a much different pitcher than on the road. And fortunately for this game, you're playing at Wrigley Field, and it's game one of the wild card series. So I think Matthew, his last couple starts at home have looked a lot better. Still a little bit. The long ball can come back and bite you, especially at Wrigley Field if the wind's blowing up. So I think it's really dependent on the conditions at Wrigley tomorrow and which Matthew Boyd shows up.
So what are the expectations here? Kyle Tucker missed almost a month, right? But he comes back for this Cardinals series. He obviously played all three of the games. I think he had one hit in those three games. What's his health like right now? Is he DHing or will he be playing in the field this week?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like right now that he'll be DHing. I mean, obviously the couple days off or the day off today, it could be completely dependent on how he feels when he comes to the ballpark tomorrow. But you know, just seeing how he was moving and how he was working out, I would expect Kyle Tucker to be in the lineup, but I'd also expect Seiya Suzuki to play right field.
The Cubs lately have kind of stumbled a little bit down the stretch. Now, they played well over the weekend against the Cardinals, but when you look at the way the Cubs have played here in September, would that give any cause for concern going to a postseason, or is it like wipe the slate clean and forget about, you know, the way they've played down the stretch?
Well, I would originally say wipe the slate clean, but I'm just looking at over the last week when you had the second half of the season where Seiya Suzuki was struggling and Pete Crow Armstrong was struggling. Now Pete Crow Armstrong hit his 30th, 31st home run, and Seiya Suzuki is now the NL Player of the Week, and he's homered in 4 consecutive games. So you can get one of those guys back to where they were in the second or first half of the season. You're in really good shape.
Alex Cohn with us right now on Jon and Jim. Where are you, Al? Are you getting pizza or something?
I am. I'm actually I'm at watching Monday Night Football somewhere, and it's got really loud outside.
Okay, real quick. Let me take a detour. I don't think I told Alex this.
We already talked to Kevin Brown.
I know.
Today.
No, not about Kevin. No, Kevin Brown.
Yeah.
So I was there on Saturday, right, dude, for NIU San Diego State. I went to get pizza near Wrigley. I panicked, and I didn't see any deep dish, so I got pizza with tortellini on top. It wasn't very good, and it wasn't deep dish, and everyone's been making fun of me. So was that a bad decision to not get deep dish when in Chicago?
You know what? I mean, they have good tavern-style pizza. That's what I'm getting right now at Happy Camper just outside of Wrigleyville. But, I mean, I don't think my go-to when I'm going to get pizza is getting tortellini on top, which I'm actually surprised that you got that, John.
Because what I remember of John Schaefer is he is one of the pickier eaters that I've met. So this is a real away game for you. I'm pretty impressed.
It was an away game, and the Padres have struggled on the road, and I struggled in that decision.
Yeah, you did.
Here's my question for you back to this series. What do the Cubs need to show you against the Padres? Like, what's your biggest question mark from a Cubs perspective when you look at the Padres, whether it's the stars like Tatis or Machado or Merrill or the Padres bullpen? Like, what do the Cubs need to show you against San Diego this week?
They got to get to the starting pitching because if you don't get to the starting pitching, if you don't get to Nick Pivetta in game 1, you don't get to Dylan Cease in game 2, I think the chances of winning this series are very difficult because the Padres bullpen is the best in baseball, if not one of the best in baseball. So you have to be able to get to the starting pitching and get the early lead.
On the flip side, the Cubs bullpen, a couple familiar faces, actually just one, Drew Pomeranz, lefty for the Cubs. How has the Cubs bullpen performed of late? And what should, Padres fans and the Padres expect out of that bullpen?
Well, I think that they dealt with some injuries. I mean, Daniel Palencia, who was, one of the better closers in baseball over the second half of the season when he went out 3 weeks due to an injury. I mean, that was a big blow to the bullpen, but getting him coming back, he looks healthy. Brad Teller's been great. Caleb Thielbar's been pretty good. Drew Pomeranz has been really good. So you still have those core 4 relievers where if they are at full strength, if they are healthy, if they're not tired, that's a pretty good back end of the bullpen, in my opinion. But a big part of that is Daniel Palencia. If he's healthy, they're in good shape. If not, they could be in some trouble.
Alex Cohen calls games for the Cubs. He's with us right now on Jon and Jim. How are Cubs fans feeling about this series? They hadn't been in the postseason since 2020. I want to say the Cubs haven't won a playoff game since 2017. How are fans feeling about their chances heading into this?
Yeah, I think a 3-game series at home in Wrigley Field, they're pretty confident about it. If you look at, most good teams at home, I won't say dominant, but they're pretty good. The Cubs' home record is pretty good. They've been scoring a lot of runs at Wrigley Field during the summer. Even in the stretches where they have struggled offensively, they have put up runs at Wrigley Field. So I think they're pretty confident about it. If you're looking at potential matchups, I think the Padres one's a tough one because, as I said, the bullpen is one of the best in baseball. And when you can shorten up the games in this 3-game series, like you don't need a starter to go 7. If you can get Nick Pivetta to go 5 and give up 1 run, you get Dylan Cease to go 6 and give up 2 runs, the Padres are in a really good position to win the series. So I think from a matchup perspective, it's a tough draw because you combine the Padres bullpen with the fact that they have superstars in their lineup that either have playoff experience or guys like Jackson Merrill are on the precipice of stardom. It's a tough team to face.
How do you feel like the Cubs are going to play this year? Like, do you feel like they're going to, if they get on the base path, they're going to try to steal a lot? Because, we're looking at Elias Diaz kind of banged up a little bit. He's been Nick Pivetta's personal catcher all year long. Did you envision the Cubs trying to, run on the base paths here if they get, on early in the game?
I do, and I think they're going to do that regardless of the pitcher, regardless of the catcher. I mean, they're a team that's been really aggressive in the month of September. If you look at Dansby Swanson, he swiped a lot of bats. PCA, obviously, over 30 stolen bases. Nico Horner has the ability to steal a base at any time. So if you get those guys on base in the right situation, I think they'll be really aggressive.
Alex, my friend, thank you for taking time for us. Enjoy this series. Enjoy the pizza. And let's do it again soon.
Hope you didn't get a pizza with tortellini on it. That's all I can say.
I did not. I did standard pepperoni and ricotta. So it's a good meal and hopefully for a good series. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate
Thanks,
you, man.
Alex.
All right. Alex Cohen, again, calls Cubs games for Marquee Sports Network and joined us during his dinner, which sounded better than my dinner.
Way better.
Sounded
now, you wouldn't have gotten pepperoni.
I'm not getting pepperoni.
But if you got cheese with like ricotta.
Cheese would have been great. With what?
Ricotta.
He called it ricotta.
I call it ricotta.
Do you?
Ricotta.
I can't. I'm not a foodie.
I can tell.
You're a foodie. Alex is a foodie. Everyone's a foodie.
Kevin Brown's a foodie.
Everyone understands that.
Kevin Acee is a foodie.
The thing is, when you go to certain places in America, you gotta, like you're getting a cheesesteak in Philadelphia, you're getting pizza in Chicago, maybe you're getting tacos in San Diego. It was just an overwhelming experience, and I felt like I just didn't know what to do.
When I went to Chicago a couple of years ago, actually not a couple of years ago.
It was like 10 years ago.
It was like 6 years ago.
It was more than that.
We
weren't working together, were we?
I went in 2019.
Okay, so it's like you weren't even working here.
I wasn't working here, no.
So 7 years ago.
It was a while ago. And I went with my brother, and we stayed in Wrigleyville.
Yeah.
And we went to a couple Padres games. We lined it up to do that. And the entire time there, I think we were there for 4 days, 3 nights.
Yeah.
All we ate, I'm not even kidding you. All we ate was pizza and Chicago dogs.
The whole time.
The whole time.
You probably felt great.
Now, one night we went out to get sushi just because we both love sushi, and we found a good sushi spot. But every single night we went out to get pizza or Chicago dogs during the day. It was fantastic.
I dropped the ball.
You did.
I really did.
You dropped the ball big time, buddy.
All right. Jim's back page is coming up on the other side. We're here until 6 p.m. Remember, tomorrow, we're going to be with you beginning at 2 p.m. I get it. Padres will be playing the Cubs at 2 p.m. But make sure to be here once that game goes final.
We will join us post game. We'll be here for you.
Have full coverage.
Oh,
we will hear from Mike Schill and players and Craig Counsell, and we will have full reaction for you for hours tomorrow afternoon on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, starting at 2 and with you until 6 p.m. And oh, by the way, you better believe we'll have wrap-up shows for you, of course, this week as well on YouTube. All right, Jim's back page coming up next. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. I think we can say, Jim, we're ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, we're ready.
We have talked about it. I mean, it's been a formality that they were going to make it for how long? 3+ weeks, right? They were just going to make it. Well, when did we know they were going to make it?
I want to say middle of August.
But then they played poorly for a while.
They did.
But were they ever really threatening to not be in?
No. They went on a 14-3 run.
Then they were
end of July and August.
We're like they're in.
Trade deadline, their team got bolstered. Like,
yeah.
we've thought that they were going to be in maybe since they started the year 14-3.
At no point after the trade deadline did I think they could have missed the playoffs.
I mean,
I never thought of that.
Did we even think it before the trade deadline? Being honest, and they started the year 14-3. Were we like, man, this team's not going to make the playoffs? I know they didn't play well for a while.
I mean, maybe, but
by and large, we thought we've been waiting for this moment, like we said when the Dodgers series ended last year. We were going to wait for a year.
I didn't take 1 second of my time over the last 2 months thinking, oh no, they're going to miss the postseason.
I feel the exact same way. Now it's finally here.
Yep.
In Chicago.
Can't wait.
Against the Cubs.
I'm glad look, for a lot of people, they're like, this is the dumbest thing ever that the game's on at noon. But to talk about this game another 4 hours leading up to it tomorrow, I'll be like, I got nothing left, dude.
6 p.m.
I got nothing left, bro.
Yeah, like the meme.
We're just gonna replay Monday.
Well, here's the thing for us, and it's not only they didn't make this decision for noon just for us. But for example, if this game was at 3 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, that's a big problem for Jon and Jim.
Well, yeah,
if we were on the air, but 3 hours,
but
we would be on.
We'd be on, but we don't have to worry about it.
Well said.
Yeah.
Game 3, we might have to worry about it because they might change the.
Well, you know what, Jon? Things can change, and showtimes can change, and we can be on different times.
Okay. I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
All right. Here until 6 p.m. Let's get to it.
I have so much for the back page today.
Really?
So much.
Okay.
We'll start with Crumble because it is a Crumble Cookie Monday.
Mm-hmm.
This week, the Crumble cookies are a triple berry shortcake cookie. It's a brand new one.
Okay.
A chocolate peanut butter cookie featuring Oreos. Yeah. A molten lava cookie. Confetti cake cookie. A pumpkin pie cookie. A semi-sweet chocolate chunk cookie, and a secret menu item at your local Crumble store.
Did you say playoff cookie?
That maybe is the secret menu item. Maybe it is.
Wild card cookie.
What's your favorite cookie on there, Jon?
The third one.
The molten lava cookie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Did they get sold or something?
They did. Today they sold to the Saudis for $55 billion.
Really?
Dude, the Saudis are just, they're paying for everything right now. Right. They're buying up everything. Every time I watch some like sports thing, it's like the Saudi guys there and they're like, oh, we're doing a flag football league. And the Saudi guy bought it for $1 billion. I'm like, is this money? Where's this money coming from?
It's money. Well, what's this going to mean for EA Sports?
No idea, but it has gone private. What does that mean? Not really sure. But who knows?
EA used to be a publicly traded company. Now it's not because it's a privately owned company. That's what that means.
Okay. But $55 billion, dude.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I'm everyone's selling for $55 billion, right? I mean,
billion.
I know if we get offered 55 bill, I'm out.
You're never seeing me again.
We're not going to get offered that.
We won't even get offered $55.
True.
Coming back to McDonald's. I know you played this game as a kid because everybody did. Even if you didn't go to McDonald's, you heard about it. McDonald's announced that on September, today, McDonald's announced that the Monopoly game is returning after a 10-year hiatus starting October 6th for a limited time.
This is the McDonald's Monopoly game with like the scratch off or whatever
the peels,
pieces. Yeah.
Okay. Customers will order their favorite item from the Monopoly at McDonald's menu, then peel and play, this time using the chain's app to collect property pieces and redeem prizes. The go round, let's see here. Well, hold on. The go round, fans can win vacations, a Winnebago, a Lowe's shopping spree for the renovation of their dream house, and much more. Each game piece also earns participants a bonus play for a second chance to win in the app, with the opportunity to win anything from free food to a $1 million cash prize.
I liked it when I was a kid, maybe, even though I didn't eat McDonald's.
Oh, dude. When I was a kid and I went to McDonald's for the Monopoly,
yeah,
I would always want to get the Monopoly
pieces,
stuff, the pieces.
Definitely.
Well, it used to be you didn't have to eat at McDonald's to play because they'd always put pieces in like USA Today and stuff like that. And like
I remember
the ad inserts.
Yep.
Well, I think that's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
October 6th, Monopoly makes its return to Mickey D's.
Okay.
And finally,
wait, I thought you had so much stuff.
Yeah, I had 4 stories today.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Okay.
According to reports, the massive comet that's called 31 /Atlas.
Is this the one that was taking out the moon that you were so concerned about?
No. The comet that people are and scientists are theorizing that's not a comet. It's actually an alien spacecraft of some sort.
But hold on for a second. Is this the one that with the 4% chance of hitting the Earth that we talked about like a year and a half ago?
No, this is different.
Okay.
This is a comet that scientists can't understand why the comet stream is like the other way. Like, what? So like it's going through space, but the comet stream
is in the front?
Is like in the front. It doesn't make any sense. So no one can understand why this quote unquote comet is moving the way it's moving. And they're theorizing that it's an alien object because scientists are predicting that this massive comet hurling toward us is actually larger than previously thought. It could be alien tech. And some scientists say that it could change everything for us.
Well, in what way? Like it's going to come here and barrel into Earth?
No.
Or it's just going backwards? Maybe it's in reverse.
First discovered by NASA on July 1st, the cosmic anomaly has been under watch by Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb and his team as it shoots across the solar system. The object, which is believed to be a comet, reportedly has interstellar origins, making it the 3rd ever object from beyond the solar system ever detected.
What?
Now the
3rd ever what? 3rd ever object beyond the solar system?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not impacting us, dude. That's so far away.
I'm not even talking about it impacting us.
You're just saying it's an alien object.
Yeah.
If there's an alien a zillion years away, does it? Who cares?
Anyway,
I know.
This object
if they had alien technology, they could get here faster than we could get there.
Yeah. So this object that is hurling across our solar system right now, they are just waiting for it to pass by Mars so then they can observe it better. And when's that? Well, my story won't open up because my phone is.
I'm saying, like, is it you think 2025 or maybe in like 15,000 years?
No. It's going to happen soon. It's not going to happen like in 50,000 years.
Right.
Well, we'll know the same way they knew in Independence Day.
It just happens?
No, it just happens.
It's going to slow down.
Oh.
Because in Independence Day, they thought it was a meteor. And then they're like, well, we know it's not a meteor. And they're like, how do you know that? And they're like, because it's slowing down.
We're all going to die.
As long as this Cubs-Padres series starts on time.
Yeah, can we get a World Series around
here?
It
won't be here by Friday. Will be cool.
And here's the thing. I was looking at Chicago weather because, well, the Padres are playing there.
What are you more concerned with, Chicago weather or
Chicago weather?
31 Atlas?
I don't care about 31 Atlas. 76 and sunny tomorrow in Chicago.
Where's the wind?
I think it's blowing in.
Okay.
That's what I was reading today. It's expected to be blowing in.
All right.
At Wrigley Field tomorrow, game one of a best of 3.
I can't
series.
Wait.
Join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. What's happening here on Monday Night Football? Dolphins have a halftime lead on the Jets, and the Broncos have a first quarter lead on the Bengals. That's what we'll be talking about tomorrow at 2 p.m. But once the Padres game ends, we'll be talking about the Padres. So join us tomorrow. Once that game ends, join us right here on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. If you missed anything today, go to sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app or iTunes or TuneIn Radio or Spotify. We're back tomorrow at 2 p.m. For Brent and Jim, I'm Jon. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
Go Pods.